Well, you followed the plot.
Sense.
You didn't
There's
follow
a
the
lot
plot.
of plot. In
There's a
this
lot of quote-unquote plot. Everything to me.
Mari Crombo Weaves, my name is Cole, his name is Mike, his name is Jay. We like anime, and this is episode 99 of the Anime Protagonist Podcast. And on this week's episode, it's a spoopy Halloween episode, so we decided to do a spoopy review, which just so happened to be our next listener's choice review anyway. High School of the Dead.
No way.
Yes.
So
it's
let's
very
planned it
spooky.
like that.
Almost, but we actually didn't. It just-
Listeners know we don't plan nothing, so.
We did not plan it this way. It was just a happy coincidence, and I think that it turns out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
our Halloween episode.
Yeah, this is spooky.
This is spooky. Look at how spooky we are. Mike's wearing his Beetlejuice shirt, stripy
What?
shirt.
Oh.
Jay's wearing his black shirt.
This is gray.
No, it's his gray shirt. I recognize
I'm
that shirt
sorry.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Jay's wearing his gray shirt, and I'm here. Scary enough.
No, you're
As
wearing
it
your
is.
Kesoku band shirt. There's nothing more terrorful than social
Terrifying?
anxiety. Yeah.
True.
I
true.
like terrorful better.
Terrorful.
It's like saying gooder. It's a gooder word.
That is a gooder word.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halloween got me thinking, it's not quite Halloween where we are in time and space.
It's
But I
close,
just kind of
though.
wanted to talk about like Halloween. Like what do we like Halloween on this podcast, or do we think it's kind of a mid-holiday?
Ooh,
I mean-
it feels like a hot take coming out of Cole's mouth there a little bit.
Halloween is S tier. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
I kind of agree with Jay. It's like directly behind the holiday season for me. Like
No.
1A, 1B.
I mean, this Halloween's my favorite holiday, bar
Really?
none. Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, when I was a kid, I loved dressing up. Like, it was like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So like, I remember one day, like we had like a dress up day at school in elementary, and I dressed up as Robin. That
Like
was fun.
Batman and Robin,
Like, yeah,
obviously.
Batman and Robin. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like a robin, like a bird,
Like the bird, yeah.
Yeah.
like a burb. Birds aren't real.
All right.
This is not
continue.
This is not the conspiracy
my
cast.
friend dressed up as a Slurpee.
Okay.
Just like
We are
seeing-
the Slurpee capital of the world,
That is true.
allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Just another hint for you hint takers out there.
There's like 5 people just going to Google, what's the Slurpee capital of the world?
I don't even know if we still are, but we were for like 10 years in a row or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
Being a Slurpee is like that's a cool costume. I like a nice original costume, and that sounds like it had to have been homemade too.
Oh
Or the
yeah,
guy-
it was.
Yeah.
It was.
yeah.
But yeah, like just seeing all the different costumes people come up with, dressing up yourself. Like I remember one year I went as like the main character from Watch Dogs to a Halloween party.
Okay, so you wore like a trench coat
I wore
and a
like a
baseball
trench
hat?
coat, a baseball hat.
And
When
just
you pre-order,
was on your phone all day?
I was actually. When you pre-order,
Classic move.
when you pre-order the deluxe version of Watch Dogs, which I did, you get like his mask. So like I wore that.
I never played Watch Dogs, and I didn't realize Jay was such a massive fan of Watch Dogs.
Look, in 2014, I was.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I've never played Watch Dogs. I do want to just clarify as well. I wasn't saying that Halloween is mid. It was simply a question.
Okay, it just felt like you were setting up for like a hot take. I don't know.
Well,
it
no,
just
I was
felt that way.
setting up for a hot
I
take,
think
but not my
Cole's-
own.
I think Cole's said in the past that he loves Halloween.
I love Halloween. Halloween's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Okay,
It's-
like number one.
Well, that and like Christmas, New Year's kind of thing.
Yeah.
Halloween is like the greatest friend holiday,
Yeah.
and Christmas is the best like family holiday. That's
That checks out because like
Yeah.
Halloween is like probably the most fun holiday. Like
Yeah.
if you're
dress up.
you're dressing up, you're going to parties, you're doing all sorts of stuff. And when you're a kid, like it's a blast. You get free candy,
You get free
wear
candy
cool
for
costumes.
like no reason.
Yeah.
Now, what candy were you like hyped over getting when you were a kid? Now, this is the moment where we get to gush about Canadian candies and chocolate bars. We call them chocolate bars up here, not candy bars. But what were some of the things when you'd see in your little bag? We used to trick or treat with like pillowcases.
I
pillowcase or
too,
the old like I did a garbage bag a few times too, like a trash bag.
Yeah, I feel like that would like fall apart though.
Well, I mean, I was literally like running out of my parents' vehicle too, because I lived in the country, right? So like I would run out of the vehicle, run up to the door of somebody that we knew, and they would like just slam like 6 full-size chocolate bars in there, and then I'd go to the next person we know's house because there was like 20 people we knew within driving distance. Yeah.
It's a pretty good haul though.
Pretty good haul. I'm an old man, and I've always been an old man. So my answer's pretty predictable here. It's Coffee Crisp. I don't know if they have that in the States. If they don't, it's a crime.
Quintessential Canadian.
Yeah. Oh, it's the best chocolate bar.
That's like saying I want ketchup chips. Like those are the two like most Canadian things.
Ketchup chips are one of my favorites too. I'm the most Canadian there ever was.
I'm gonna be honest though. Like when I got chips in my Halloween thing, I was like kind of upset. Because
chips were
incorrect.
No. Let me explain. Let me cook.
Hold on. I just want to address, because we're moving on from the Coffee Crisp thing.
Yeah.
Mike, what is Coffee Crisp?
Coffee Crisp is like it's very crunchy. It's like a nougaty bar that is essentially just nougat with like a thin chocolate coating, and the nougat is like soaked in coffee flavoring.
It's not nougat. It's wafer.
Yeah. Okay.
Nougat is like soft. Like a Three Musketeers is like nougat.
Okay, maybe you do a better job of explaining this to me.
Okay, yeah, no, wafer, like Jay said. You did a good job of explaining it, except replace nougat with everything wafer. Mike said, replace nougat with
basically
wafer.
Imagine like a coffee-flavored Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, that's a good way to think of it, and way bigger. Way bigger.
Yeah.
Way bigger and less chocolate. That was the one downside to Coffee Crisp.
Oh, that's what I like about it.
Oh, you like the Coffee Crisp?
I've said on the podcast before, I'm not particularly a chocolate guy.
Okay, now back to the chip thing.
I am a chip guy. Yes.
So I also love chips, but like the reason you go out for Halloween is like you want candy.
To get chips.
To get candy.
Get chips, yeah.
So like if you get chips in them, it's like that's not candy. That's
better
different.
Than candy.
It's better than
candy. No, it's not. It also like it's big, so it takes up more of the bag, so your bag fills up more.
Well, you eat them right away.
Yeah, those were always the first.
Hold on, you ate them.
I'd come home.
You ate them while you were going trick-or-treating?
Oh, no. I'd come home, empty out my bag, and like the chips immediately.
No.
I love Halloween.
While you're going trick-or-treating, like it fills up the bag. Or like, I guess in this case, the pillowcase, so like you have less room for the other stuff.
You got me thinking now, Jay. I
actually
don't remember if I ate any well. I'm sure I did.
I don't think I did. I think I could. I think I'd hold off until I'd get home and then dump the bag and see what I got.
That's what I would do. I would wait till I got home and then dump the bag. But like I would go with friends. So like we'd go back to my friend's place because his house was closer to the street we'd hit. And we'd dump our bag
to the
at
Target,
his place.
if you would.
The Target.
The unsuspecting victims.
So we'd empty our bags, and then like we'd be like, oh, what do you want? Do you want to trade or like?
Okay. Yeah.
I would just go with my brother.
Yeah,
me and my sister would do that too. So Jay, I don't think you actually you said your least favorite thing, but I don't think you said your favorite.
I wouldn't say it's my least favorite. It's more like
you literally said it was your least favorite.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
No, did he? I didn't catch that. I just heard him say like it was disappointing.
No. I just don't necessarily like appreciate chips because it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for.
Man, you're a hater.
Man.
You're a hater.
Chip hater.
It's all good.
Hater, yeah.
Best,
what do you like though, Jay?
Best. I like caramel bars. But like I was kind of raised on those, so
I was so scared, Jay, for a second, because like we know you have some wild takes on this podcast. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say I love those little squares of caramel that you get.
That was gonna be my next question was gonna be what was your least favorite?
I was so scared for a second.
Caramel bars.
Caramel bars are great.
I think those are also a Canada staple.
I
think that's one of the UK things that we got over here. Because we got lots of Cadbury candies and caramel is Cadbury. It's basically chocolate with caramel inside. Yeah. I think it's in the States because you always hear the question, how do they get the caramel in there?
No, I think it might be.
Yeah, maybe.
It might be.
Okay.
Let us know how isolated Canadian we are.
Yeah. The other thing I liked was jelly beans. But I love
You got jelly beans?
Yeah. That's why
Where were you going?
Just loose jelly beans.
No. It wasn't loose jelly beans. It was just like a
Some
thing of
creepy
jelly-
old man would just like dig his hand into his bowl of jelly beans and be like, "Here you go."
No, it was just like we just like had like a really good spot, and that's why we kept going.
Jay had
to
a good
it.
spot, I think. Yeah.
You know which candy I would not like is like an O. Henry, but now I love O. Henry.
I love or Mr. Big is the equivalent to me.
No, Mr. Big I always liked.
You guys are gonna roast me for this. I've never had a Mr. Big.
Have you had no Henry?
I've had no Henry. Yes.
I couldn't tell you the difference.
No.
Cole probably could.
There's a big difference.
See, there you go. What is the difference, Cole?
No, Mr. Big has no peanuts. Mr. Big is just like a marshmallow wrapped in chocolate.
That instantly sounds better.
Wrong.
No, that's what it is. What do you mean wrong?
No, I mean Jay's take that no peanuts is better. Unless you're allergic. I don't think Jay's allergic.
No, I'm literally allergic to nothing.
Good. You're so strong and powerful.
Oh yeah, he was bragging about that the other day on our Discord. Come to our Discord.
What was I going to say? Oh, you know what's also the elite of the candy world? And this is true to this day. Like some of these takes change over time. To this day, Reese's of any kind. Reese's are elite level candy.
I
don't care if it's Reese's Pieces.
I like Reese's Pieces. Yeah. I don't like the peanut butter cups.
Oh, you can give them all to me. Man. Yeah, that was fitting for the brat.
No, honestly, hey, for whatever reason, like so many people love chocolate and peanut butter, but like I just can't. So many people love it, and like for me, it's like it's a rich thing with a rich thing, and it's just way too rich.
But it's the sweet and salty. Do you like sweet and salty? Because that's
it's not really
textbook.
Sweet. It's more just like
it's chocolate.
It's chocolate wrapped around peanut butter.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking like the peanut butter's not sweet.
And Reese's Pieces are sweeter than a peanut butter.
Mm-hmm. What about the Reese cups with the Reese's Pieces in it?
No.
I'm too old for that.
No, have you tried it though?
No, I haven't.
Try it. Because I thought the same thing. I thought this would be too much, and then I ate it.
Yeah,
I think I've had them once before, and like I mean, it was just basically the same impression as a peanut butter cup. But the thing that I've had recently that you reminded me of, have you ever had the M&M's bars, like the chocolate bars?
I remember that from when I was a kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. Another one too that's up here that America needs, and maybe America has it now. Maybe we've exported this. Cookies and cream bars.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite. Cookies and cream.
I remember.
Yes, cookies and cream are elite.
I remember at my high school, there was like a vending machine, just kind of in one of the hallways, and everyone every day would like, if they had change on them, go to the vending machine, get a cookies and cream bar.
I remember like, when like me and my sister would trade the Halloween candy, like we'd exchange what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like the cookies and cream bars were like that's like the $10,000 chip that you're bargaining with. Like,
yeah, I'll trade you one of these for
like 6 Snickers or something.
Yeah.
Snickers are kind of mid too.
Snickers or Mars bar? Which one are you going with?
Now Snickers. When I was a kid, Mars. Because the peanuts. I didn't like the peanuts when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm apparently like peanut blind because there's so many chocolate bars that like the big difference is one has peanuts, one doesn't, and I legitimately could not tell you the difference between those two chocolate bars.
No, Snickers and Mars.
Henry.
Yeah, literally Snickers and Mars are. Yeah, that.
You say that, but like when you have to like visually identify it. When I was younger, I used to work at like a bulk
one says
food.
Snickers, one says Mars.
No, I used to work at a bulk food store. And like they'd come just like unwrapped, just like in a
just
bag.
loose like Jay's jelly beans.
Yeah. So like you like I'd have to ask a customer like, okay, what is this? Are these Mars bars or Snickers? And they'd be like, I don't know.
I don't know. Isn't that your job?
That's kind of your job. Yeah.
And then you have to like figure it out.
Sir, like, what's the difference here?
Yeah,
so
I think peanut.
Snickers, I can't remember which one, but like one of them looks less uniform. I think it's the Snickers.
Is that the one that has peanuts? Because I think Mars bar doesn't have peanuts. Actually,
yeah,
Mars doesn't have peanuts.
Yeah. I think
Mars is just smooth.
Yeah,
which I'm not a huge. You know what?
It's
actually
too sweet. The peanuts kind of cut down the sweetness.
Yeah. You know what is actually also like an elite? Here's another old man take by me. elite level candy out of there is the Nestle Crunches. I went crazy for those too.
Like with the blue wrapping,
blue wrapper, and they got like the rice puffs or whatever the heck is in there. Oh man, those things, like, it's certified like just a hunk of chocolate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just old man type territory. But they hit good.
Yeah,
I'd even like getting like the Dairy Milk bars.
What's a Dairy Milk bar?
It's just straight up chocolate, just chocolate.
Just
a chocolate bar.
Did you guys enjoy like the Aero bars?
I love Aero bars.
I love those.
I could take an Aero bar, but my mom always stole all the Aero bars. She loves Aero.
Your mom's got good taste.
Yeah, she does actually.
Yeah, and Kit Kats. I mean, we kind of touched on Kit Kat.
Yeah.
I love Kit Kat too.
Yeah, Kit Kats are like the solid like B+ of chocolate bars to me. Like, nobody hates a Kit Kat.
Yeah,
they're just like
Kit Kat
unoffensive
Chunky
and
is
good.
elite, man. It's good.
I'd say.
I'd rather have a regular Kit Kat.
I like the cookies and cream Kit Kats. Those are really good.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
How'd you guys feel about like the like actual? We've talked chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys feel about like the candies, like the Sour Patch Kids and the Fuzzy Peaches?
No. Oh no, I like
those.
Those.
It goes chips, chocolate bars, candy, and then caramel squares and Rockets.
Rockets, also known as Smarties in the States.
Rockets were the ones that like we'd always try to trade away.
Yeah, Rockets bottom tier. That's again Smarties in the States, like the little round, hard pieces of sugar that taste like nothing.
Yeah,
those are terrible.
What about Laffy Taffies?
Oh, those are good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those would be good. I don't think I could eat them now.
You guys
could rip my fillings out.
I just sparked this memory. My friend, when we were in elementary, bought like an entire like case of Laffy Taffies and would go around our school selling them to other kids.
It's entrepreneur.
Just created an entire empire on it.
There was a kid in our school who did something similar to that. I remember.
Was there?
He bought the giant pack of, they're called live wires. I don't know what they're called elsewhere. It's basically like a piece of candy with like kind of a white creamy filling on the inside.
Oh yeah.
They're like little like wire shapes. And yeah, he like bought the big box of them and he was just selling them for like 25 cents a live wire. And it's like,
that's genius.
I don't remember who it was. I just remember buying the live wire.
You just remember the concept, but not necessarily.
I was like, that kid's got it going on. Yeah. He's a businessman.
Now that you're older, it's like, man, I should have gotten in on that.
That was the kid in the anime with the glasses, and he's probably like the class president or something.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was like Light Yagami.
Yes.
Yeah, now we've got to go from one extreme to the other. What would always end up like just, it's November 15th. You've got a little bit of candy left, but it's all just the junk.
Rockets.
Rockets.
Yeah.
There's
caramel squares.
Honestly, you know what? I do mess with a little bit of caramel square here and there. I do dabble in the caramel square. Yeah.
No,
but not a lot of them. Not a lot. Or the Werther's candy. I like a Werther's candy sometimes too.
I like Werther's candy.
I do like Werther's.
It's literally caramel.
Yeah.
I know, but it's hard candy though. Yeah. The caramel squares.
It's like soft and you have to chew on it. It's did you guys ever get like a thing of gum in your
yeah, I'd get little things of like Hubba Bubba.
Yeah.
Like, no, not even Hubba Bubba. It was like that pink bubble gum.
Yeah, either the pink bubble gum or like the soap flavored gum you'd always get from the 95-year-olds out there trying to like indoctrinate children to their terrible gum.
Some people like Thrills though.
My mom,
it's fine.
My mom tried tried to hook me on Thrills because she says she loves them. And like,
there's just something about it's all the lead in their blood that lets them like the Thrills. Apparently,
it's thrilling to them.
Oh yeah, I guess.
I got two things to say.
Okay,
go.
Regarding this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Bottom tier for sure. The thing that was always left in the bowl was a ton of either like the hard sugary pops, like they're basically Rockets or Smarties if you're in the States, but like a pops like a pop flavor. I don't know what you call them. They're terrible.
The ones like you chew on them and it's just like sugar.
It's just like a hard piece of sugar on a stick.
Yeah.
And then the other one that was terrible was Tootsie Rolls. I hate me a Tootsie Roll.
I don't like Tootsie Rolls either.
Yeah.
I like them.
I'm
it's basically chocolate flavored Laffy Taffy. What's not to like?
I don't know. There was just like some weird aftertaste to them.
Yeah. Yeah. They just never really hit the spot.
Yeah.
Okay. My hot take for candies that I would leave is Smarties, like Canadian Smarties.
Yeah,
I
basically
do
M&Ms
not like
to
Smarties.
our American listeners.
I mean,
not
as
so.
a
It's
kid,
close enough. It's close
as a
enough.
kid, for me, like it was just
for
like
comparison's sake.
it was just candy coated chocolate. So I was like, this is good.
See, the
Shazana
thing,
goes berserk for a Smartie, aka M&Ms, but like I don't get it either.
no. M&Ms are good because they've got the right balance between the candy and then like that bitter Hershey's chocolate, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Smarties is like too much candy on it and the chocolate is just sweet. So it's just
but it's also like
sweet.
The ratio to candy coating to chocolate is like
true.
way off. Like there's way too much candy coating on Smarties.
Yeah.
M&Ms are better.
M&Ms
and you know
are
what's even better?
Immensely better.
Peanut covered M&M or peanut M&Ms.
No.
Elite.
No, wrong.
Caramel M&Ms.
Wrong.
That exists?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do, but Jay's wrong.
No,
Okay.
I'm right. They're so good.
One more question before
just
we
vanilla M&Ms are the best ones. Normal ones. When you get the little pops, remember those cylinders?
Yeah.
With the mini ones, you just pop it open. Just dump the whole thing in your mouth.
Yeah.
That was more of a Christmas thing.
Oh,
I get that
no,
messed up.
Yeah, you get
thinking
those in your
of,
stocking.
I'm thinking of like, do you remember those like triple pops that like you'd have like 3 different popsicles that you could like alternate between?
Yes, push pops.
Yes, that's what they are.
Yes, those were great.
Those are really good. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Cole, you gave your tier list with chips on top, and I submit one more thing that I'd always get in the bag, the garbage bag when I was trick or treating, and I want to know where you guys put this in your tier lists. The full can of pop.
Oh,
You got a full can of pop?
well, what did you get? A half can of pop?
No, I never got any pop.
Would you get
or
just
anything.
a loose thing of pop? Like the guy
Just an
gave you
empty can?
Just a
no,
guy
he just
with
gave you like
a pitcher of Coke, just like
yeah,
pouring it in.
poured it in your bag just with it to go along with the free
Loose
pour
jelly
jelly
beans?
beans in there.
No, yeah,
Like you have to make direct eye contact while he does it.
Yeah.
I'd get some cans of pop.
I think the difference is that Cole and I grew up in like rural area, and just people would just have like a case of a 2-4 a pop just hanging around.
Yeah,
and,
pop and like
Take my car keys.
I remember once when we were a kid, we were trick-or-treating on our street, and one of our neighbors was like kind of a weirdo, kind of a strange
Everyone has a
feller.
weird neighbor. It's true.
And we would skip his house. I remember I was trick-or-treating. It was me, Cody Bott, and then our 2 cousins. Mike knows them. And
It was like
we just kind of
Boo Radley's house.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
We kind of just skipped his house. He literally ran out and was like, "Where are you going? Come back!" So then we had to turn around and go.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
I don't know.
sad.
And then he gave us.
that's
I don't know.
really
He probably
funny, though.
gave us decent candy, but
This
it was
poor
just
old-
like
this poor guy was probably just so stoked to have kids come to his house and like he's just like
he probably was.
just thrilled.
Do you guys have any like Halloween horror stories? Because I got one. I got one that's kind of funny.
I don't
That
know
time
any
you threw up all
horror
over my
stories.
basement?
Was that Halloween? Oh, that
Right.
was Halloween. Yeah, it was the Halloween one. I was trick-or-treating with Cody Bott, and Cody Bott was, I don't know, he was something with like a big cape and a hood.
Oh no.
Like
Bad
the Grim
move for a
Reaper or
kid.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trick-or-treating, and the way that trick-or-treating would work in small towns in Canada, you'd have to hop into the car, right?
Yeah.
So that you
'Cause
can
the
move
houses
on to
are
the next
like-
area.
Like pretty far apart.
Yeah, I
like,
imagine
it's
the
not-
neighborhood's not like a suburb where they're like neck and neck, right?
It's
Well,
not
you'd-
too far off.
You'd stop, hit up the street, hop back in the car, and then move on to another street. Well, Cody's cape didn't get the memo to jump in the car with him. It was hanging out.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Have you ever heard this story, Mike?
No, I don't think I have.
No?
It's kind of ringing a bell, but I don't think so.
So Cody Bott had the cape hanging out of his car, unbeknownst to him, me, or my father, who was driving. And as my dad like puts on the gas, just slowly,
As you
kids are
do,
trick-or-treating.
as you do, yeah.
We hear Cody in the back seat like go.
Oh
His cape got caught under the wheel. And was choking.
Jesus Christ. That's not good.
No, I mean
God.
I think it's funny. We
It's
both
funny
think
in
it's
hindsight,
funny.
but
Yeah.
like your dad probably crapped his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad said it was like one of the worst sounds he's ever heard. It was one of his kids like choking in the back seat.
Like choking to death.
Yeah. So he put it back in reverse and Cody
Oh
got
my
his
god, that's crazy. Poor
that's,
Cody Bott.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Holy.
Well, yeah. He's
horror
okay though.
stories,
He's
though. I
okay.
don't-
Let's check with him.
Sounds okay to me.
Yeah, he's fine.
All functions normal.
Yeah.
Nominal.
Everything operational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any like Halloween horror stories, honestly. They're all pretty positive memories for the most part.
It was basically a segue so that I could tell you guys that story.
The other thing would be like, because we are in Canada, like the end of October is like beginning of our winter time.
Yeah.
So like I recall a few Halloweens where like I'd be wearing like snow pants or like winter boots, and like it just doesn't work very well. You're like traversing through like a foot of snow to go get candy. You're freezing. It's just not a good time.
I don't think that people understand. We would have to like buy Halloween costumes that were too big for us so that we could fit our snowsuits underneath the Halloween costumes.
This sounds like a Canadian meme, but like this is 100% factual. Like,
so for me, I'm a very picky person when it comes to things like that. Like I want things to be I want things to be exact. So I pushed back against this. Like I remember my mom would be like, "Oh, put on a jacket," and I'd be like, "No, I want people to see the costume."
No,
I believe you because you strike me as like the shorts to school kind of person.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I used to walk home in minus 40 degree weather in shorts.
Too cool.
Yeah.
Literally.
But that's mostly because we had to wear a uniform, and the uniform pants were super uncomfortable, and the shorts were much more comfortable. So
more comfortable than the minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is
You're
also
a kid,
minus
you don't
40
feel
degrees
pain.
Fahrenheit.
No.
That's true.
Yeah. If I were like how old I am now, if I were 25 back then, I'd be wearing the pants.
No. I gotta put a jacket on to go start my car. It's outside my door.
You get so weak in your old age. It's so sad.
My joints hurt.
But so like I'd wear just the costume, but like I'd still have to put on the boots because like you're not stepping in snow and
you don't want to get a boot
shoes.
or a shoe or
you don't want to fill your boot with snow.
But like it would still happen, and like walking around with snow in your boot is so annoying, especially when you're going around trick or treating.
Yeah.
Because you got to put miles on those boots, and then if your foot's all wet and cold, that just dampens the experience entirely. I'm actually kind of like curious to know, like, and it'll probably be too long of a discussion, but like how different the city kid versus the country kid trick-or-treating experience is, because it sounds like it'd be quite different, honestly. But
well, I mean, we got time. We got time.
I mean, for me, it was pretty much like the most prominent one I remember was I went with 3 other friends around a Crescent Street trick-or-treating. And like we just go door to door, like someone would drop us off on the street, and then we just like walk the entire street, come back, and they'd pick us up on the other side.
Oh, so essentially the same then.
We would like, I grew up in town, Mike didn't. We'd hit up the immediate like neighborhood we were in. Now, the benefit of having separated parents as well was I had 2 neighborhoods I could hit. I'd start at my mom's, go to my dad's, and then we would have to be driven out to like our family members who lived out of town. So then we'd hit up like our uncles, aunties.
Yeah, because they had to put on the little parade, you had to do the song for the horse and pony show, right?
Yeah, look, here he comes. Look at him.
Yeah,
and
he's freezing.
You gotta hit up the old folks' home in town too, because they would
old folks home love some kids in costumes.
I believe it.
And they'd give you lots of candy.
I believe it. I remember my grandparents would always buy candy for the kids. And no one ever came because it was like a very
that's so sad
random street that like only has apartment buildings.
Those, you know what, those houses that do have like the light on like the random street that nobody's going to generally give out like you get a full handful or like a full-size chocolate bar.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? How was your trick-or-treating? I mean, you kind of went over it a little bit.
I kind of went over. It's basically the same as what you said for your second half there. We would like hit up all the places we knew on the way to town, and then we'd like go through town and do our thing. And then like in my teenage / like early teen years, I usually would go out with like your brother and stuff like that, and just kind of do like the same thing where you're just like wandering around. You're kind of like not like a crap disturbing teen, but like you're maybe a little too old, a little older than you should be trick or treating, but you're you know what, you're having fun. You're doing anything wrong either.
Yeah, your Halloween costume is basically you went and you bought a mask from the dollar store.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like Scream masks that you have the little pump in your shirt and you can like pump the blood into the.
Yeah.
I wonder if those are still popular with kids these days.
How could it not
It's
be?
a classic costume, right?
How could it not be, Jay?
Speaking of costumes, what were some like really fun costumes you remember wearing?
Oh man, I loved
Bedsheet
Halloween,
Ghost.
but I hated dressing up.
Really?
That's surprising to me.
Yeah. Well, I think the issue was my mom would insist on painting our faces instead of buying us masks. And I hated the face painting.
That would do it.
it.
Yeah.
I hated it. So like I went as clowns. This was when I was really little.
Mhm.
So like a clown.
I don't remember that far back.
Yeah. I think we went as Batman one year, and instead of wearing a mask, she like painted our faces. Oh, yeah, it was just, Mom, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And then, later on, my favorite costume was a bedsheet ghost when Mike and I went to that, what should we call it?
It was like a dance, basically.
Like a dance,
The school dance.
But for adults.
Oh, that's weird.
This is the other bed. Oh no, you weren't with us for the first bedsheet
No.
ghost.
That was a high school dance.
Yes, that was a high school dance.
Yeah, the second bedsheet ghost was for a.
It was like a fundraiser party for Halloween. We do these things and they're called socials here. It's very confusing to people who are not from our province.
Yeah, it's very specific to us. Yeah,
it's basically like you throw a big party and it's like a fundraiser and people buy drinks and there's prizes and it's just a lot of fun. Honestly, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I've never been to a social. I've never really
Jay,
had an opportunity this Halloween.
Yeah, there's one coming up. Yesterday, as of release of this episode.
Yeah.
Did you come? Did you not come?
Find out in the description of this video because.
But yeah, Mike and I went as bedsheet ghosts, and we were like, I don't know.
It
felt like we were like the center of attention.
Oh, it's a great costume, and it's great for introverts too, because like you get to be like hidden. No one knows who you are.
Oh, and you just spin around.
Yeah, I remember my favorite costume that I would wear like every year ever since I like got it ready was I got like a Darth Vader costume, but like I had like the lightsaber and everything, but like I had the voice changer helmet. So like instead of like the mask, I'd wear the voice changer helmet and just like be walking around like pressing the thing. So like you do like his breathing, and like whenever I'd go up with trick or treat, I'd like put the voice changer on, say it through the voice changer. It was like I always had to like make my costumes. I don't know if this is, I don't know why that was, but I just pretty much always had to make them. Like I remember one of the ones I made when I was like very young, and this is very easy for me because I kind of fit the character, but I did Harry Potter a couple times because it's like literally you paint a scar on my forehead, you get the robe. You've already got the glasses.
Get it? He's got glasses, 4 eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I hurt his feelings. Yeah, I remember one year I went as RoboCop when I was far too young to like understand what RoboCop was. But RoboCop,
you didn't understand the complexities of that cinematic masterpiece.
It is a cinematic masterpiece.
I mean, hey, RoboCop's cool, and that's all you cared about.
I also went as Box Robot RoboCop to the infamous Halloween party at Michael's house.
I thought you were gonna say Box like Bochi, and I was like, that wasn't even out yet.
No.
That'd be a good costume this year. Or actually last year. There was that one guy at Icon that was the Box Bochi.
Yeah.
Yeah. He even had a guitar and everything.
Yeah. He had like an Epiphone.
I think like one day he went as like Box Bochi, and another day he went as like Bochi with the wig.
I think the wig was on underneath the box. That's my canon.
That's your head canon?
That's your head canon?
Yeah, it's my head canon.
Halloween's fun. I hope everyone is going to have a wonderful Halloween, because 2 more days till Halloween.
Also,
it's time for the mailbag.
Also,
you gotta give us like a warning when you're gonna do the drop.
No. It just felt right.
If you're doing a Halloween thing, stay safe and drink responsibly.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
or don't drink if you don't want to. You don't have to. As for me, I mean, I'm gonna drink.
I'm gonna drink. This is a drinking episode, right, gentlemen?
Yes, we agreed. Since we're reviewing such a great drinking episode anime, we're gonna have a drinking episode.
Well then.
Delicious.
I probably have something somewhere that I'll get during the break.
Jay will be drinking water.
Yeah, when you're me, every episode is a drinking anime. Drinking
anime.
That's a drinking anime.
Yes.
We got a patron priority mailbag. Sorry. If you want to send us mailbags, you can do that either on our Discord or on our website, AniProPod.com/mailbag. Patron priority mailbag. Wee woo. Tribal chief of Mailbag, Kratos?
One of the two. Mm-hmm. We'll find out one day.
One day. He wants to know, what are your thoughts on American/non-Japan animes not being on Mal or AniList? Examples, Castlevania on Netflix. I personally understand the basis as to why they don't count, but I personally don't care and would prefer if all anime, no matter where it originated, were available on AniList/Mal. Reason is I like to use AniList as a watch list / tracker. LOL.
That's a girthy mailbag, and I am on Kratos' side on this one, and I have a good reason for it too. Now, hear me out, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Recently, I watched an interview with Lisa, famous Japanese singer, many great songs,
I think
right?
I've heard of her once or twice.
You've heard of her, right? She sings some bangers.
She sings one or two.
Some more than one banger.
She sings quite a few bangers, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think I think I'm familiar with her.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know, but I think I've heard like one or two.
Could you sing one of her songs for us?
Not in this forum. But they asked her what her favorite anime was.
Mm-hmm.
This person, a resident of Japan, the country that produces anime. And do you know what she said?
The Simpsons.
It was like Despicable Me or something like that. Because to people in Japan, anime is just equivalent to animation.
Well, that's what anime means.
Exactly.
In Japanese, anime means animation.
They don't care if it's from Japan or America or Korea or China. Why should we? That's my argument for it. Well, I know people disagree with it. I do see the basis for having it. It's because there has to be a line at some point.
I think anime is a style rather than like Avatar is an anime.
Yeah.
Castlevania, like Kratos says, is an anime.
The thing that like baffles me is
SpongeBob SquarePants,
anime.
Not an anime.
No. It's an anime.
I mean, it is literally an anime, but it's not.
No. I'll show you off air.
No, don't show me. I've seen the OP. I've seen it.
Have you seen
That's
the show?
Not real
though?
SpongeBob.
Have you seen the show though?
It's not real.
It is real.
It's not real.
They did episode 1. It's real.
Who did episode 1? Nickelodeon?
No. The guys that did the OP.
Just some guy? That's not real, Jay.
It is real.
That's as real as what's her name is from Persona 5 Royal.
Hey,
that's pretty real to me.
Old married couple. Back to the topic.
Okay. So the thing that baffles me, is that like the Scott Pilgrim anime, Science Saru did it, which is a Japanese studio.
Yeah.
Not on AniList.
It's not going to be?
No. Which is
this is the thing with having arbitrary lines.
Like that doesn't make any sense. It's a Japanese studio doing it. So like by the definition that most people bring forth for what an anime is, that fits.
Yeah, because like at least with Avatar: The Last Airbender, people can argue, well, like it has no Japanese ties really.
Right, but
being,
it's
like, incredibly
Yeah.
influenced.
It's
Like
incredibly
they basically set out to make like the most anime Western cartoon ever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty loose when it comes to like my definition of anime. Like I would even consider something like Teen Titans.
Oh, 100%. It has
honestly, Powerpuff Girls. Like it's got that same like style to it.
Yeah.
It looks like something Trigger would put out. Honestly.
Right. Yeah. But again, like I wouldn't say Fairly Odd Parents is an anime.
Yeah.
By definition it is, but like when you see it.
By the most like literal definition of anime, it is. But like the medium, I guess, of anime is different from Western animation.
I think it is really it depends on the person who's viewing it.
Yeah, like even me, like I'm pro just putting whatever wherever. Like rules are arbitrary; they don't make any sense anyway. But like even then, I'd probably say like Fairly Odd Parents kind of probably doesn't belong on AniList. Like stuff like that, or like SpongeBob SquarePants. I
think you need more to drink.
I think I need to enjoy more adult beverages. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's the one argument on the other side is like, if you blur the line so much, where does it end?
It's a classic argument in like, not just this, but like you always can just say like, where is the line? Where does it end? You know? And like, that's true in this case. Like technically, like Minions, if you argue hard enough, is an anime, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you argue hard enough, like a lot of stuff that people wouldn't even consider like typical animation is animation. Like, I mean, The Lion King is considered live action, but it's all CG, right? So that's an animated
that
movie.
Lion King.
Okay, I was gonna say, Jay,
you do realize that was a cartoon.
Let
right?
me cook. Let me cook.
Yeah.
Like Disney says it's live action, but they're all CG.
Sorry,
So
I forgot those live actions
movie.
happened.
I forced myself to forget. Yeah, I think for argument's sake, though, I do understand where like Mal and AniList comes from, because you do have to draw the line somewhere,
Exactly.
and I guess the line is at Japanese produced animation.
I think that's the easiest right now line they could have, but I think that's getting to the point now where they're going to have to open it up to more, because like you got stuff from China and you got stuff from Korea and you got even like Western stuff starting to compete. And
like My Adventures with Superman is an anime. Basically.
Essentially, or on what's the one with the superheroes with the
Invincible?
Invincible.
Is that it? No. Is that it, Jay? Help me.
Invincible?
Yeah, that sounds right.
The one with
big mustache guy.
with Omni-Man, it's Invincible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like you have things that like the line is getting so blurry that it's really hard to draw it at this point, that I think they're going to be forced to open it up to more eventually.
And I mean, we're just talking about American ones. I mean, there's Chinese anime, there's Korean anime. Like,
that's what I mean. I could see them opening it up to just like animation produced in Asia could be like the line.
Yeah, but then where's the line there? Most animation is done in Korea.
Yeah.
The Simpsons has been done in Korea for years. Family Guy as well.
Yeah.
Produced
So
for
like,
an Asian audience? I don't even know. Like,
yeah, I know.
This is why they this is why they took the stance. I
it's
get
very,
it, but
very
I hate
tough.
it at the same time.
It's very tough to draw that line, and like it does depend on the person, but at the same time, Mal and AniList, like they are businesses, and like they have to consider their brand at the same time.
Just like
us.
Yeah.
Got to consider our brand, which is rambling nonsensically.
Yeah.
Lots of things. Yeah, I hope that answered the mailbag question. Do you guys think we answered it, or do you think we had just added more confusion?
I think we usually answer part of it, but by the time that we would have actually answered it, I've forgotten the question, and I'm just kind of talking to you guys. So I think we could probably say we answered it. Jay?
Yes.
My good friend?
Yes.
Can you answer a question of Cole's regarding tournaments?
Maybe. Depends on the question.
Jay, we have forgotten for weeks. For weeks that we do this thing where we nominate.
Months. It could be month at this point.
Where we nominate characters and such for tournaments. We were wondering, do you have like a theme? Like, what's our theme?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I actually do. So our upcoming tournament will be drum roll, please. Thank you so much.
Hold on. I'll get it for you. We actually have that.
We have the power.
Anime Studios.
Studios.
Famously not characters. Like they don't have a personality.
They don't have a personality. But I think that this tournament's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll tell you guys what it is in due time.
After? Okay. Yeah. For now, though, we just have to nominate tournament.
For now, we just have to nominate studios.
We're just gonna like edge our listeners. They're gonna be so confused as to what's going on.
Mike, why don't you start us off?
Oh,
give me a studio right now.
Right now. Oh, good. Thank you for putting me on the spot here. I can think of one.
There's many studios.
I'm gonna go with my personal favorite studio. Studio Trigger will be my first nomination.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Jay Leon.
Okay. The studio that I would like to nominate, I have one in mind, but I think Cole's going to take that one, so I will take.
No. Please nominate whichever you like. I've got a couple in mind.
All right. Production IG.
Okay.
Was that what you were going to take?
No, that was not what I was going to take.
Wow.
I'm obviously going to take Shaft, my favorite studio.
Okay.
I also have another studio that I would nominate, but I'll save that for next week, I suppose.
Sounds good.
But for now, I guess we've done all that we need to do in this first half, which brings us to our second half.
Does it though? We're not quite there yet. We have like a really important thing that takes place in between, don't we?
A break. But before the break, Jay, do you have a new anime that we're going to review? Do you maybe have some hints?
Oh, I do have some hints.
Yes.
Let me just pull them up real quick because I didn't have them ready. I thought we were going to reveal them after the break, but that's okay.
No, we're all about putting people on the spot here.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Yeah.
He takes pleasure in seeing our uncomfort, Jay.
So, our next review, full disclosure, before we started recording today, I told Mike and Cole that that our next review was going to make one of us really happy.
And I predicted that it would be Cole.
Okay.
Cole, do you have a prediction on who this review is going to make happy?
I'm going to predict me as well.
Okay.
Because generally, Cole is the one that me and Jay try to please because he's always angry at us.
Well, I mean, stop doing things to make me angry.
Yeah.
No. Stop being angry.
No.
Never.
No. Yeah. You know what? Production IG goes in C tier now.
Boo. Boo hiss.
Boo hiss, etc.
March Comings Like a Lion was not even that good.
That's
true. It's kind of boring. But to save us from going too off track, this show...
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece? This movie isn't stupid! You're stupid!
That's
you
Cole's
guys are
inner
boring.
voice all the time. All the time.
Jay's boring. March Comes In Like a Lion isn't boring.
It's kind of boring.
You're boring.
So this...
Give us your hints!
This show is 13 episodes from 2008 by Studio Imagine, based on a light novel.
Imagine. Oh, God.
And I feel like, despite the fact that this most recent show left Cole hollow inside, this one will fill his heart.
I knew it. I knew it was for Cole. We do it all for the Cole. The what? The Cole. Cole's typing in 2008 Studio Imagine. I'm not looking it up.
Our next review.
No. We save that for after our
Going to be
review.
revealed after the break.
There we go. Let's go to a
break. It's sorted online.
Welcome back to the Anime Protagonist Podcast. This is part 2 of a 2-part series about podcasts and anime.
Welcome to our TED Talk.
In this part 2 of our podcast, we are going to review the anime known as High School of the Dead.
The Dead.
Deet doot.
Wee woo.
Yeah. Hey, if you like jiggly bits, you're gonna love this anime. Jay, why don't you tell us? Oh no, you know what? Let me just kind of go over.
Give him the structure first.
Let me go over the structure here of this. If you're concerned about spoilers, don't be. We have a big spoiler warning. We try to keep our review spoiler free up to a certain point. So before that warning, we're going to talk about like the setup, you know, what's it compared to OPED, you know, that kind of stuff. After the break or after our spoiler warning, that's where we kind of dig in. We get the meat off them bones so that we can make some delicious soup.
Save those bones.
Yeah.
Make some soup.
We also rate our anime based on our patented Anime Protagonist Podcast rating scheme, which is protagonist to antagonist, basically 1 through 5. And yeah, but before we do any of that, we try to predict each other's thoughts, what we thought of this anime.
And I think we're also revealing Jay's review before we do spoilies
We'll
too,
do
right?
that right before the spoiler warnings. So,
So people are clamoring right now.
That's just the meta game of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen to the end of the spoiler-free discussion to hear what our next review is going to be.
Now, what did our co-hosts think of this podcast? I will be brave. I will be gallant. I will be really a hero among men.
I always say that about you, Cole.
And
honestly. It's kind of the hair. It's very Alexander the Great.
Yeah, and I volunteer myself to predict your guys' thoughts first. Okay. Mike, I think he had an unexpected fun time with this show. I feel like Mike had a good time watching this. He was able to just put the blinders on and just have a good time. Jay, I feel like he was a little uncomfortable watching it from all the jiggly bits. But in the end, I feel like he could appreciate it for what it was. I think you both had a good time watching it. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Mike had a good time watching it. Cole, I think he had ironic enjoyment in this show, where like he didn't like the show in terms of like, you know, anything that it actually did. But he loved laughing at just like how ridiculous it gets with the jiggly bits.
If I had to guess what I thought you guys thought of this show,
Wait.
Oh,
Mike, can you let us know what you think we thought of this show? Yeah.
Sorry, I was just taking advantage of the silence. I just assumed that was where we were going.
No, you have to wait for my prompt. I am the host.
I forgot you are my God, my savior, my ruler. If I had to guess, I think that Jay, I'll go with Jay first. I think that you, kind of like what you said about Cole, I think you probably maybe can acknowledge this is not, like this is lacking. This anime is lacking some certain things. But I think it's
not
it's
lacking
a fun
some
time.
other things, though.
It's definitely not lacking in some, it gets caught lacking a lot of the time. I think you had fun. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 for you. I think it's enjoyable enough though. And then for Cole, I think kind of Jay hit the nail on the head. I think you probably think this is one of the dumbest anime you've ever seen, but I think you think it was fun.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we want to, you know what? No, Jay, why don't you give us an explanation of the show? It was your nomination that won.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
it's kind of an infamous show too, right? So like this is, but it's old at the same time.
Yeah. So basically, it starts off with our main character here brooding about the fact that his crush dumped him for another guy. And while he's like on the roof, kind of brooding, he notices that this weird man is approaching the school, and it turns out that this weird man is one of them.
That's. Sorry, I don't mean to like start off the podcast with a critique. I don't like how zombie shows always they just call them zombies.
Everybody knows what a zombie is.
Everybody knows what a zombie is. You guys were referencing zombie movies in the show
throughout the entire thing. Yeah.
Just call them zombies. I hate that. Them.
Yeah, it's lame.
Walkers.
So yeah, they're zombies, and so now they're stuck in a zombie apocalypse, and they have to figure out kind of what's going on. But really, what they're doing throughout the entire show is they're going around trying to find everyone's family to make sure that they're okay.
And the main character has to figure out how to keep all of these women off of him. God damn.
He has a pretty effective strategy, though, I find. He beats the shit out of them often.
I mean,
he doesn't.
He slaps them up a lot.
He slaps one.
He did it once at the very beginning, and I laughed so hard at that.
He slaps one girl at the beginning because she ain't listening.
He breaks one of their ribs with a gun. He ropes one to the point that it would probably pop a breasticle.
Yeah, see that I was talking
There's some crazy stuff happening in this.
I was talking about a scene where I didn't understand the point of it, and that one was the one.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm glad Jay summarized the plot because I had a very hard time following the plot for this one.
Well,
you followed the plot.
Sense.
You didn't.
There's
follow
a lot of plot in this.
There's a lot of quote unquote plot. Yeah.
No, I mean the plot itself makes sense. I do feel like the show maybe its eyes were bigger than its stomach. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yep. No, I'm on the same page as you, Cole. I think
the episodes were like 20 minutes long. with like a 2-minute post-credit scene to get it up to 25 minutes. I mean, yeah.
And this is one that you had to watch the post-credit scene too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have
Post-credit
to.
scene. I don't like when they do that. I like when the post-credit scene is like just a little extra content for somebody who watched after the credits. I don't like when they include like important story elements after the credits.
Yeah.
That just feels a little cheap to me. I don't know why.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I mean, I still watch it, but like it's just I don't like it.
Yeah. So the setup here is your classic.
If you've seen any zombie movie ever,
it's
produced in like the last 20 years,
in
it's
how
the same.
it sets it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
which I think is fine. Honestly,
Sure.
I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
fine
not a
with that
negative.
too.
It's just
It's the only way it really sets up in honesty and reality.
Would you say that this is for like zombie movie fans, or would you say this is more for the ecchi fan?
I think it's more for the ecchi fan.
I
Or
feel like
the ecchi romance fans, like fans of High School DxD.
I think it tried to do both
Yeah.
and failed.
It kind of leaned much harder to one than the other.
Yeah,
Because like
I think
the zombie apocalypse thing is there, but like it's so bare bones that it doesn't really like delve too deeply into it that it feels like anything other than
I do like that the zombie apocalypse isn't really explained per se. I kind of like that it's kind of a mystery, and that there's these like little things that are happening on the periphery of the plot. Like people are talking about like, oh, this is like a pandemic that the government released. This is not actually zombies.
There's
they're
like your
just sick.
conspiracy group. And
no,
stuff.
there's like there's like a little things that kind of like expand people's worldview. Like there was like that one protest about the cops being like too power hungry.
Yeah, but then it's just kind of. We're done with
it's just kind of gone.
Moving
Yeah,
on to the jiggly bits.
That's kind of how I felt a lot about this. Is like a lot of the time it has so many good ideas and just executes them so poorly that they like kind of don't work. But it's like, oh, that's actually really interesting that they did that, and then 2 minutes later it's irrelevant.
There was only, I will kind of maybe reveal my thoughts generally. There was only one scene where I laughed at the ineptitude of the plot, and maybe not ineptitude, but just how like brazen it was in how it just kind of tossed some characters away. I'll save it for post spoiler warning, but there was one scene where I laughed at like a plot resolution just like coming out of nowhere and being so sudden. That happens towards the end of the show.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
So stay tuned for that one.
Yeah.
Does this show have like a reputation? Would you say that this show has a how does the community see this show? Do you think that it sees the show in a positive light or in a negative light, or in a funny light?
I think it's kind of split because like it has a reputation for two things. One, I think that like it's seen as like a very ecchi show.
Oh, really?
And the other is that the mangaka sadly passed away in 2017, so it's canceled.
Yeah, that's because like if you watch the OVA, they actually say at the very end of the OVA, "To be continued. Tune in for the next season," and then it's never coming. It's kind of like a cruel joke.
Well, the manga hasn't continued since he's
how
gone.
could it, right?
Yeah.
You're forgetting one more important, probably the most famous thing about this anime is the one scene in which a certain character manages to dodge a bullet, like in the normal. This is kind of normal. The bullet perfectly shoots underneath her, like between her legs or whatever. You see,
but that's not it.
Classic anime. That's not the iconic scene. The iconic scene is immediately after that, where she manages to, like, while doing the splits, dodge a sniper rifle bullet by wiggling her breasts. And everybody has seen the GIF, and it's famous for a reason because it's hilarious.
Let us address the two massive elephants in the room here.
There's only two? I thought there was at least 8 or more.
There's many elephants in the room. This show is peak ecchi. Like, unbelievable amounts. Like, needless panty shots, needless...
But to be fair to the show, if you're going to be an ecchi show...
Oh, no.
Go away.
You got
That's
to
what
go
I'm saying.
for it.
Like, if we're talking ecchi shows, this is S tier. in terms of pure ecchi. Like there is.
Yeah, it doesn't shy about. It's not shy about being.
It puts all of its chips on that. Wears it on its sleeve and is proud of it.
Or doesn't wear it.
Or doesn't. I mean, it might have gotten blown off by a gunshot, but.
Or just decided not to put it back on after having a bath.
Yeah.
I will appreciate, though, that the show didn't show any nudity of the
underage characters. Which I thought was... There's two levels to that, too, which I appreciated, because... There's one scene where like I was bombasted, my mind was blown for a second because I saw full on nipples. That threw me for a loop. I was like, "What's happening?
What is happening?
Wait, what?
But then they were censoring all of the underage characters, which hey, props, good job.
Yeah. And on our latest BOTUS, I kind of went on a rant where I said I don't really care too much about anime characters' ages, and I forgot to throw an important caveat on that. Is where it's like it actually makes sense that they're teenagers and they're not just teenagers just to appeal to teenagers. Then, like in this case, they're actually high school students, and it's like a common. It makes sense that they're teenagers. You think of them as teenagers.
Yeah, and like they're treated like teenagers by other people. Like they meet this other guy that's in another group, and he's like, "Oh, you're just kids." Like. I'll take over from here.
Yeah, you kind of forget. You kind of forget that
there's a lot of anime where like, they do basically they're teenagers and like it's completely irrelevant to the plot their age. Yeah, and I find then they just do whatever they want.
Yeah,
but yes.
Influences that the show has. What would you guys say? I mean, obviously the show definitely has influences from like zombie movies.
Dawn of the Dead is a massive influence for sure.
The Romero movies. Giorgio Romero, is that his first name?
George R. Romero?
There was one
Romero.
movie
I remember the last name Romero.
There was one movie I remember them bringing up in like one of the early episodes, and I can't remember which one.
Apocalypse Now. They specifically call out Apocalypse Now by like name.
Yeah, and I think he mentions like Dawn of the Dead, and that's what I mean. Like, just call them zombies. They're zombies.
You guys watched this one subbed, I'm imagining, right?
I think the reason...
No, finish your thought. I'll come back to what
I think the reason they're called or they're not called zombies is because like I think there's like a thing where like you can't use the word zombie in
it's like how Marvel has copyrighted superhero.
Yeah. I don't know if I buy that. I think it's just they're trying to be a little clever.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with aliens. Like when they don't call aliens in alien movies, they call aliens not aliens. They'll call them like others or the visitors or something. Just call them aliens. It just feels like a little,
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like I feel like it feels like the same thing as like how Happy Birthday was copywritten for a bit.
But then you have Zom 100 where they call them zombies.
I mean, I don't know. This is also a different time. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, like Happy Birthday was only recently put in public domain.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why you actually hear Happy Birthday and things now?
Yeah.
I was wondering that. I'm like, wow, they're actually paying up now. What's going on?
Or like same with Winnie the Pooh, how that recently became public domain. So
yes, Winnie the Pooh. You know what? I'm going to hold my Winnie the Pooh fact for another day, because that would dox
maybe
us.
Maybe for our watch parties. Come to our watch parties.
Come to our watch parties.
Yeah.
Cold delivers facts.
Get a Cole Canada fact out of their watch parties.
Yeah, if you're curious.
Yeah. Cole, you're going to ask me a question.
Yes. Sub or dub, Michael?
Now, I assume you guys watched sub, correct?
Well, find out when you ask me.
Okay. I watched this one in pretty well equal of both, which is like, I feel like a crazy person move. I feel like I'm a psychopath for doing that.
That would be a crazy move.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the originally started with the dub, and then I switched to the sub, and then I went back to the dub, and then I went back to the sub. And I couldn't decide which one I liked. And they kind of both did things I liked, and they both had things I didn't like. Like the dub was definitely a little like cheesier, and like the acting wasn't quite as good.
It is like early mid 2000s dubs, so the quality is much lower than modern dubs.
They just didn't put they kind of hammed it up a little bit more, which was actually something I appreciated about the dub. It made the show a little more. It took itself a little less seriously than the sub did. And I appreciated that. Like they kind of made like a lot more jokes and like threw in little funny bits. And the sub was just like your normal sub for this period. It was just passable. It was good. Now, Cole, what did you consume?
Well,
I guarantee Jay did the sub.
Yeah, Jay, what did you do?
I sub, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever watched a dub in his life.
When I first got into anime, I watched dubs, but
I
was
feel
converted.
like I did like a crazy person move where I would kind of switch back and forth between sub and dub.
Oh, this is interesting.
And the reason for that is obviously I started with the subs. But this was a show where in classic Cole move, I watched it at the very last minute. So I had to do a lot of like kind of
Mental
double
gymnastics?
Yeah, mental gymnastics, double time.
Double takes.
Like while I was cooking, I'd be watching as well. What's the term?
Like
I'm looking for?
multitasking.
Multitasking.
That's the nice thing about dubs is because it's your native tongue, you can actually like understand it a little easier.
The dub was okay.
Yeah,
Johnny Young
yeah.
Bosch was
Passable.
in it. Johnny Young Bosch was in it. Other than that, I really didn't like the teacher's voice in the dub. She was a bit too like high-pitched, squeaky, girly.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of like gave off that vibe in the sub, but like it was a lot more.
I don't know. There's just something.
A lot more soft than
The
like
teacher's probably my
squeaky.
least favorite character of the main cast, honestly.
Yeah, maybe. But I did like the dub. It had those like cringy dub lines that.
Mm-hmm.
I like those cringy dub lines, but I think like you're talking about where they like reference like American things and stuff. Like there's one part, or they just kind of like localize it a little bit. I generally like that, but I feel like maybe just because this one's aged, it just didn't age very well.
Yeah, that's
some of those references.
But I mean the sub, I do think, not to be like a purist, but the sub was probably better.
I'd say
for me.
if you had to recommend one to somebody, you'd probably go sub. But
Yeah,
I think the dub
Johnny
is
Young
funnier.
Bosch. I mean, I'm not a dub guy, but like he is peak.
He does a good job at what he does.
He's the best.
Honestly,
dub.
Yeah,
guy.
the main guy, the main character in this, he was probably the best standout in the dub. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like one classic line I can think of that was in the dub and not in the sub is that when they were explaining one of the characters like how they knew how to use guns,
Mm-hmm.
and then the dub voice actor's like, "Holy crap, this guy's like a card-carrying member of the NRA or something like that."
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny.
Another one was when a character was kind of taken aback by the girls.
Jiggly bits.
Jiggly bits. He says like, "I like turtles," which is just like a class. Like, I get it, but like that's aged a bit.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. OPED. Let's talk about the OP of this one. What do we think of the OP?
I thought that the OP was fine. Like it definitely feels like it shows its age, but like it does enough to feel like they at least put a little bit of effort into it.
I like the OP in terms of its stylistic choices. Like
Yes,
it's definitely artistically interesting. The song, I mean, meh, whatever. Maybe that's
whatever.
a part that's aged a bit, but
I thought it kind of did a good job of being just like your standard, like, okay, we just need an OP, roll it out.
Yeah.
This is the OP for this show.
Honestly,
it's
the
good,
OP,
it's passable, nothing to complain about.
The first like 7 seconds of the OP are the best part, where we get like the main character shots, which is cool.
Yeah.
And it's time to the music.
And then it moves to like basically just etchy. Basically, here's your hentai wallpaper. We're just gonna scroll over this picture.
Yeah. There's a lot.
This show.
They might be my wallpapers on my computer now. You don't know.
You don't know. Find out soon.
You don't know how many screenshots I took. 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. But no, I like the OP. I mean, in terms of like, I don't know, where would I put this on a tier list per se? I don't know.
It's like a solid like D plus, C plus.
Oh,
I would
I'd say a
C-tier.
C. Yeah, C.
It's not making it on any like top 10 list, but it's good.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
it's fine.
It's fun. Yeah.
I
ED.
much preferred the OP over the ED because the ED is just like a scrolling picture.
I don't know. The
I was
ED.
moving.
Did you guys not pick up on the intricacies of the ED?
Well, I
Play
mean,
the
it
drop.
had a different song every time.
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece?
Seriously,
this
though.
movie isn't stupid. You're stupid.
No, the
Oh,
ED.
we got the full thing.
The ED was cool. Yes, it had a different song often, but the ED, like
Every
the
episode.
pictures would change, so it would kind of tell different.
Oh, yeah.
different
Not
story things.
all of the pictures. Would
Not
change.
all
Not
of them,
all
but
of the
like
pictures,
some,
but some of them
yeah.
would. Like the main focal point of the picture would change. I also liked again like the stylistic choice of it being like a missing persons bulletin. It was cool. Like it had some cool things going on here in this show. Also, a lot of jiggly bits.
I will say the ED, like you said, I appreciate it.
I mean, I skipped it all the time. I skipped it.
It
was very boring.
Yeah.
Like
it was incredibly boring.
I use the ED to like update my AniList, go on my phone, and just kind of like check stuff, and then like I'd be like, okay, the post-credit scene's up. Let's.
You weren't updating your AniList every episode.
Every episode.
Yeah, every episode.
I watched them.
You watched like one episode, and then while the next one was starting, you'd press +1.
When the next one was starting, he'd grab a tissue, he'd clean up, and then he'd hit next.
Cole, you don't need to reveal that on air.
Yeah, I think we can all agree though the ED was very mid, as the kids would say.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Again, like I like the art design of it, but like what? You wait until everything's revealed and then you take a screenshot of that. Like other than that, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I appreciate, I don't know if this is the OVA or like which is actually because the OVA is like kind of like an episode 13 basically with way more fan service. And I think at the end of that, I can't remember if it was the end of the show or not, but like somebody walks in front of
hold on, I have a drop for this.
Oh, okay. Yes. Someone actually walks in front of the board of all the missing person pictures and stuff, and like it kind of zooms out and it shows like it's just on like the side of a bottom of a bridge.
No,
or
that was
like
episode 12.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was the end of
that was episode 12. It was like a policewoman like walking past it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate like it technically did nothing wrong other than being boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an ED.
Yeah.
It's an ED. You're watching it so that you can get to the post-credit. And the post-credit had some, again, like some of it was, you have to watch the post-credits, which
this one you definitely do. Like if this was on Netflix and you skipped the ending and you go to the next episode, you're probably very confused. And I was confused a lot of the time too.
I was confused.
Especially.
I am confused.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't really find myself confused because I watched them, but I could definitely see like the confusion in it.
Yeah.
I found it hard to follow. That's all. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh,
Cole?
no, I was just gonna move on to our next topic. If you guys have anything else to say about OPED,
no.
Okay.
I think they're pretty mid as in general.
What would you guys say about like the sound design of this show?
This is where I would say. I'm going to use the sound design to springboard into something I thought was pretty good about the show.
Okay.
I think the show's production was pretty good.
Yes.
I think that they did a good job of making this show. I thought that like the action scenes were good. I thought the sound design was good as well. I definitely... The other thing I like about dubs in this and like the dub soundtrack.
Oh, here we go. 5.1 surround. Yeah.
You get the surround sound. So when you're watching the jiggly bits on the big screen,
you can hear the jiggly bits behind you.
It's higher def. You can there's better sound separation and stuff like that. And I thought the sound design was good.
You can hear the teacher's boyoyoing sounds
They actually had the teacher's boyoyoing sounds. Like that was a real thing. Like they actually.
But only the teacher's boyoyoing.
Only because they were bigger.
You know what? Hold on. You know what I find funny about the teacher is like, everybody's like, oh my God, she's like, she's well endowed, Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
they're the same.
They're all well endowed.
They're all well endowed. But they focus on her like boyoyoing. And like they're all the same. And they all have equal amount of jigglies.
Yeah.
But she's the one where they add the ridiculous sound effects too. I don't know.
I think it's because she was like naked a lot of the time.
Yeah, she was. She was
naked a lot.
Yeah.
She was I didn't appreciate how ditzy she was.
Yeah.
She was a little too ditzy.
Yeah. We'll talk about the characters.
That.
Echoing on what Mike said, the production of the show was surprisingly good. The animation in it was good. I really do like the character designs. Like they're all
the character designer. I had to look into this because like I got like war flashbacks. This is the same character designer that did Anohana.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, the characters that made me realize that were the guy with the gun, like the guy that like knew how to shoot guns. He looked a lot like Popo from Anohana.
Okay, yeah,
and
I
then
see
the
that.
little girl looked very Menma-y.
Yeah, no, that checks out.
The other character designs, and I know it's not the same character designer, but I got a lot of like Code Geass vibes from the character designs.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, I think it just might be the time period.
Yeah, it could be.
And I think that one of the bigger reasons why I really like the production of the show is it's Again, the same director that did Death Note, Attack on Titan, and all that.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
And Jay's 10 out of 10 anime, Guilty Crown,
And Guilty
previously
Crown.
reviewed on this podcast. Same
Yeah.
director. We just love this guy, apparently.
I'm going to be honest. I love this guy.
Tetsuro Araki. The dude is a goat
Yeah.
of the AniPro
No,
podcast.
I love this guy.
I mean, the direction in the show, unironically, is
Actually
very
pretty
good.
It's really good. Yeah.
No, it honestly is. Yes.
No, like he's currently in my favorites list on AniList because everything he's done, at least direction-wise, has been positive.
I'm going to cement my views to you guys here on this show.
Mm-hmm.
This show was an incredibly highly polished turd.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Like,
Sure.
it took what it was working with and made the absolute most out of it. It maximized it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It found the diamond in the rough, I think, here.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
It found the jiggly and knew what to do with it.
I think, honestly,
Sort of.
I may have had more fun with it than Mike did then, based on that.
Yeah. Should I maybe just kind of do my little negative Nelly session right now?
You know what? Let's go into how many
Okay.
more episodes before you dropped it? Like, how many episodes would you watch before you
One.
dropped it?
One.
Honestly, as a guy who had fun with this
As
show,
a guy.
as a
male human
who had
being,
fun with the
yes.
show,
Mhm.
one episode. I agree.
I think you get the gist of the show in one
Yeah.
episode. That's why I say one episode, not because of my feelings on it. or
I
anything.
don't think that anything happens after episode 1 that really changes what this show is.
I would give it 2. Like, I would at least allow the characters to all meet up so you can at least get the character dynamics.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
first
I can see
episode is
that.
really just main guy and main girl. Like, my favorite characters were the ones who weren't really in the first episode. To be
That's
honest.
valid, actually. Yeah, maybe two or three is the right
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, no, Cole, you know what? You convinced me.
Yeah, you've convinced me too. Because
I
like
am a
the
genius.
first episode is honestly like I was pretty hooked on the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably 3 episodes in, I was kind of like,
I'll
yeah.
not to spoil myself, but I echo that. Yeah. Would you binge this or nah?
I think it's an easy binge. Though.
I think this
Despite
is
what I
better
just
to be a
said,
binge. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely a
Yeah,
binge.
it's short episodes too. Like, honestly, I watched the last 4 episodes in like an hour and 10 minutes.
and like the plot is like so irrelevant that it doesn't. You could just basically coast through this and not even have to worry about
it's so much
it.
more of like just turn it on, have a good time.
Now, what about the characters and the character dynamics? What would you?
Honestly, kind of one of the better things about the show, I would say
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
the characters were at least interesting, and like you said, I like their character designs and
It
their
felt like they were
interactions
thought out, at least. Like the
Thought out, but maybe
author-
not executed the best.
Yes.
Execution, similar to our Guilty Crown review. Execution is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was one whole thing about Sword Girl,
Mhm.
where Sword Girl and main
She had many things.
Sword Girl and main guy were off on their own doing their own thing, and we kind of like
their
get
weird, pointless side mission.
yeah, we
there.
get like a sides an explanation about Sword Girl's psyche, and it's like
Yeah.
this came out of nowhere, and we
Yeah,
don't
why does-
address it ever again.
Yeah.
I will say,
Unless, like, for whatever reason, it was supposed to come up later, but it
Maybe.
never did. Because
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we
That's
don't know.
true.
We don't know.
I thought that a lot while watching this too. I'm like, I wonder how much of this would actually like become relevant later, because I did notice with Sword
Mhm.
Girl, like what they did foreshadow that a little bit. That revelation that she has.
Mhm.
And when they did it, it was kind of like when she finally revealed her thing, I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
So like they kind of do these things.
Yeah,
that
I
are
think that this show very much suffers from the fact that, like, it's incomplete, and
Yeah.
the people that were working on it had nothing to go off of
That's true.
outside of what they worked on.
That's true. I mean, the whole will they, won't they, and the love triangle between our main character and
It's more of like a love square.
yeah, but I mean the tsundere.
The tsundere doesn't really factor.
Yeah,
in,
she's
does she?
kind of doing the
I
will
mean,
they,
like,
won't they
she's-
with
she-
gun guy.
Yeah.
Yes, but she's also said that she likes him, so like it's kind of like a web
Yeah,
in that case.
but I mean,
This
ultimately,
was pure harem. And honestly,
yeah,
in
I
my
feel
mind.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the crux, the crouton of
Yes.
the
Yeah, no. If we're gonna look at like
relationship, the
which of them
relationships,
like actually could possibly end up with Takashi? It's Ray and it's Saika.
Sayaka, yeah.
Yes. Psycho.
Psycho.
Yes.
Which I found funny because like
Yeah.
sounds like Psycho.
Nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little on the nose. Yeah.
But I kind of like that. I mean, it was
It's good.
interesting.
It's good.
Again, the show had interesting ideas and like cool things that were going on. I liked the whole like.
I feel like a lot of the time this show did operate on the rule of cool. Like it was just like, oh, this just looks cool, so let's throw it in.
1,000%.
Yeah. I mean the dirt bikes and have you ever the 6-wheeler amphibious vehicle? Have you ever been on one of those?
Yes.
They move at about 3 miles an hour. They are
Yeah, they're not fast. Yeah.
abominably
Abominable.
I've been drinking. They're very slow.
Yes.
I
I
don't know why I
can't say
picked
it
the
either.
hardest
I can't
word,
even
yeah.
rank you on it either.
Yeah. No, it's valid.
They're very slow.
I think that's something we should really talk about. I'm going to use this. I'm going to quickly segue this into negative Nelly lane here. They kind of disregard a lot of the things that like are the rules of the world that this is taking place in a lot of the time. Like they just say, no, we want to have the scene where they're up against a wire fence or something, and they need to kill a bunch of zombies, and it's gonna be cool.
Yeah,
and it's like, but
how do we
why?
get there?
That doesn't.
Yeah.
How do we get there? Yeah.
You're
we
running
need the guy
backwards.
to
Yeah.
Yeah. We need the guy to save some poor little child, but how and why? And it just kind of doesn't make sense. And a lot of the time, the one thing that really bothered me on this was, okay, we figured it out. The zombies are responsive to sound. And then the guy drives a dirt bike around.
Yeah.
And sometimes the dirt bike matters that it's loud, and then sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the
Yeah.
gunshots matter that they're loud, and then sometimes it doesn't. It's like,
sometimes it's important that they be quiet in their conversation. Sometimes it isn't. You know,
sometimes they're playing tickly tag in the bathtub and screaming, and somehow the zombies don't hear that.
but that's fun
Like,
though.
what? Oh no, it's fun though. It's just,
You know, like
Mike, you need to understand. They need to see the jiggly bits.
hey, we got to see the jiggly
bits we're
bits.
seeing. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Speaking of jiggly bits, let's move on to characters. Best boy,
Yes.
best girl. Best boy, Jay, go.
Best boy. I'm a little torn. A part of me wants to go with the self-insert character.
Is it the edgelord or is it the school shooter? It's the question.
I'm going with the
Or
edgelord.
or the creepy teacher.
No, we're not going with the creepy teacher.
No, we don't like him.
Throughout the entire show, he did a really good job of making me want to see him eat shit.
I'll talk
Yes.
about him later because I kind of addressed that a little bit earlier on in this review.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that post spoiler.
He's not gonna be
Okay.
anyone's
So
best boy,
the
though.
scene you were talking about, it's exactly what I thought.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with our main boy here. I wanted to go with the
Takashi.
other one, Takashi. I wanted to go with the other one.
Hirano.
What's his name? Hirano.
Mm-hmm.
But
Kota.
like, I feel like I don't know. Takashi just has more.
Yeah, he's the self-insert, I guess. Yeah.
I honestly,
Yeah,
I think
fair.
Hirano's more of a self-insert. If you look at like, I don't know, he just seems more self-insert-y.
This show is a love letter
At
to
least for
three
the author.
things: zombie movies,
Yeah.
jiggly bits, and
Yep.
guns.
Yeah.
This show loves its guns.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of why I think that Hirano is the self-insert, because I think the author clearly
Possibly.
loves guns.
I think
And-
Hirano is the author's self-insert,
Yes,
and
that's-
whatever
yes.
the bland protagonist's name is probably the watcher's self-insert, I would say.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
He's obviously the protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one thing I didn't appreciate about this show, and I think this is kind of again just showing like when it came out, because at the time, the 2010 was like or I think this is 2011, I don't remember.
2010.
Yeah, it was a very different time than now, and the amount of like fat shaming in this show was like,
Yeah.
I know
lot
it's a
of-
different time, but
Yeah.
it's like, man, do you have to call that guy fatty every time you talk to him?
I don't know,
It
she's
wasn't
the
like
super
fat shaming.
rude.
It was like fat
felt rude.
shaming. Like the like, oh, this is a man's job, like that kind of stuff. Like
It was
Here's-
just very
here's
the
basic
lot-
in many
here's
ways.
the
there was
thing,
a lot of problematic stuff in it.
She was a tsundere and she was dealing with like unresolved
Issues, yeah.
crush issues. She clearly likes him. And that's just
Yeah,
like,
and then she's a
when
tsundere,
when
yeah.
you're in school and like a girl would punch you, it's like, oh, that girl likes you because she's bullying you. You know, I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Mike, why don't you tell me who your best boy is? Somebody
Best
out there
boy-
understands what I'm saying. I've been drinking. Okay.
No, I know what you're saying.
No, I get
Cole.
what you're saying.
I was letting you cook, and then
Yeah.
you just kind of made like plain white rice there.
Who doesn't like rice? Goes with
Yeah,
everybody.
you still
likes it.
cooked. You still
Goes with
cooked.
everything.
You still cooked.
Put some
Yeah,
soy
you
sauce
still
on
cooked. Yeah.
I mean,
At the end, we're like, oh, yeah, that is where I thought you was going with that.
okay, I'll have this rice.
I'll eat that good rice. It's good. Listen, there's two main characters that you can really go for best boy in this one.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm
why
not
you're
gonna
going
do
with the
the
dad.
I'm not going to do the meme insert of the dog, Zero or whatever his name was.
It
He had
was
two different
Zeke.
names in the dub and sub. Zeke or Zero. In the dub, I think he was Zero. I know, weird. I don't know why they would do that.
I don't like that.
What's
I
the
don't
point
like
of
it either.
changing it?
Because this is a weird show. Like weird things happen. I can't go with the protagonist because I like actively disliked him for most of this show. I don't know. I just found him kind of insufferable.
I thought he was
I
fine.
think I'm gonna go with Hirano because I liked him. I was rooting for him. Yep.
Yeah.
I like that he's like a gun otaku and like
Yeah.
he was like he went to America to like learn how to like shoot guns and he's just like
And it low key, his
unabashedly
parents were
this
like
ota-
the most interesting people in the show.
yeah no, he's probably like one of the more he's the more interesting of the two characters to me, other than like just like the jaded edgy boy.
I think we'll have more fun with the best girl. You know,
Yes.
Mike, I feel like you're really shitting on my boy.
Komuro, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, he was okay. He was pulling. He was pitching woo.
Big woo.
He
yeah.
was pitching woo.
He was pitching
a
woo.
lot of woo.
It comes back to one thing I don't like about anime is when the guy isn't really pitch and woo, but they just kind of are like, oh yeah, he gets all the girls.
No, you know what I found kind of like funny a little bit? Every time he'd pitch woo and like, you know, start making out, you know?
Yeah.
It would cut away like that's like
Yeah.
X-rated. Like just show them
Like
kissing.
they showed nipples but kissing. No.
No.
That's one thing I did appreciate. I want to go on a little bit of a rant here. I did appreciate that the show actually kind of like went all in, like on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it knew what it was. Like, it was just like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean,
I
like,
think
go ahead, Jay.
I think the thing that I liked about it was like that they actually I mean yeah, he still hasn't really made a decision, but like he's kissing them and like he's not like just being like oh, I don't know, do they actually like me or am I just
like
imagining it?
It's established that they all
Yeah.
like each other.
he full on bangs one of them.
No.
It's
he doesn't.
implied that
It's implied.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe.
yeah, when
they're
they're on
in
the
that-
bed, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
there's a couple-
not the bed.
No.
No.
There's a
No.
couple times when it's implied, honestly.
There's
Yeah.
a few times, like there's one shot where he's talking to one of the girls and he's like, we should stop because, you know, this will lead to something else.
Yeah.
And then there's another one where he's making out with a girl, fade to black, cut to next morning. What
Yeah.
happened in there?
What happened there? Yeah.
Yeah, they're alone
They're trapped in
a place, yeah.
empty building together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like, you know, honestly, like the love triangle was interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about. This is about best boy.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. Yes.
I'm gonna go with Mike as well. Hirano is fun to me.
Yeah.
I feel
he's
like
more fun.
like Komuro would kind of, he'd be jovial sometimes and positive, but only like rarely, and it seemed kind of out of character for him.
He was a
Yeah,
little too
like when he
edgy.
had that like
Yeah.
pervy, etchy face on him when he was looking at the girls, it looked
Yeah.
very out of.
It was like, yeah,
Off
was it the same
model,
character?
Where like
Yeah.
I feel like Hirano's two sides are established. Like he's got his one
Yeah.
side where he's just like a dork, and then he's got his
Yeah.
other side where he's like a badass gun
I
guy.
think that I think the thing that bothered me more was because he was like kind of a dork, and like he was like all
I don't know.
like,
You gotta.
pervy, like that kind of bothered me a
Have
little
you
bit.
ever met people
Oh,
like that? I know people like
that's-
that.
Yeah,
I know.
he's more believable to me, I think.
I know
'Cause-
it's just a little like it's still annoying.
No, I mean they both. I mean I'm not
Like
saying either one of these
look,
are like.
I'm not saying it's poorly written, right? I'm just saying like I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just not your tight cup of tea,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
but,
like you don't like edgelords, like
no, I
Yeah.
mean I
Yeah.
don't dislike edgelords, but I get it. Yeah. What about best girl, Jay? Now this is where we start getting into
yeah.
the
I feel like this is where we're gonna have fights.
Mhm.
So my best girl, it was Ray for like the first like few episodes, but like after a while it kind of switched and became Psycho.
Yeah, I feel like this first season had a lot of character development for her, which I think might just be a result of it being the first season of what should have been more.
Yeah.
Or what wanted to be more.
Yeah. I think, can we all agree that like the teacher was worst girl out of...
Yeah.
Because like...
Yeah.
She was kind of one note, really.
And what was her job? Driving the car?
She was a... Listen,
I mean, she was
the characters
a
in this show. The characters in this show all have established roles that they do 0% of the time.
Yeah,
the nurse never does nurse things.
Yeah. like he's like what's his name? He even like breaks down all of their things. Yeah, and like they rarely ever do it. Like he's like The nurse is good at being a doctor. The tsundere is
supposed
really
to be a
smart.
super genius who never uses that ability ever.
Who's never like
she never
she's like
a plan.
Like there's even a scene where like she's like, oh, they can't see, and he's like, why don't you test that out? And she's like, no, I'm not doing that.
I mean, I wouldn't either.
No, but like,
I'd send Mike out.
But
go. You're the guy.
But like, there's a scene before that where like she says like, oh, this shows that they can't see, but then like she's like, no, I won't test it out, despite the fact that she's already seen evidence that they can't see.
I wouldn't test it out either. Yeah.
So Jay, I think you said psycho, right?
Psycho, yeah.
She's a crazy person.
Yeah,
psycho.
Yeah, she's mob psycho.
Like Jay said, and I believe it's my turn to say
it
best
is your
girl.
turn. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Psycho had the best development for sure in this season. She definitely had the most like interesting stories happening to her, and I would, like Cole said, I would have initially probably went with his like childhood girlfriend there, the one that what's her name again? Ray. But the further it got on, the more like insufferable she became, because she would just be like, her whole personality just became, I have my ex-boyfriend is dead and you killed him, and that's like basically her whole personality towards the end. It's kind of like And then the tsundere's whole personality is just being mean to the chubby my boy there. And like, and then the teacher is kind of just like the doctor who doesn't ever help anybody and just kind of like is horny for these teenagers. And then that leaves Psycho, and I think Psycho's best girl.
I mean, there is one other girl in the show which I feel like you should address and say that,
as the resident, like, I feel weird saying it, but lolly guy. I do like I don't know. I find
like
it cute.
the protect energy.
She was cute.
She was protect energy.
No,
she was cute.
Protect energy.
She didn't really do much, so like it's kind of hard to give it to her.
Honestly, there was kind of no purpose for her existence in the show outside of that one line where Ray's like, I guess we are still human.
Yes, that was literally her purpose in the show, was for them to be still human and for the protagonist to actually help somebody. Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was
reload
probably
those, and bring our boy Hirono clips.
And to pee on somebody, which I felt like that had to be a little fetishy. It felt weird to me.
And just unaddressed. It just happened. For no reason.
Why did that have to happen? Yes. So yes, Sayako is my best girl for this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cole.
So I like Ray. I feel like Ray honestly has the best character design. I really like her. She's got those
the character designs in general.
Antennas and the ponytail. I'm a ponytail guy. I like ponytails.
I think I like the teacher's character design the best, but that's just
honestly, I don't like the teacher's character design. She's kind of the.
I think for me, my favorite character design was Psycho.
Psycho's great.
Psycho is good.
Psycho,
she's net best girl for sure.
Net best girl.
Yeah. Which is why
I'm going with Takagi. Come on, you guys know me.
Is she the tsundere?
She's the tsundere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like her. I mean, she's great. And then when she puts the glasses on, I mean, I make fun of Mike with his stupid glasses all the time. But like, glasses make people, I've said this for years, glasses make people 30% more attractive.
Yeah, Mike.
I've done the math.
Hold on, Mike. Cole hinted at it earlier. He said earlier in the episode, flashback. He said that when people bully other people, it means that they like them. So when Cole bullies you for wearing glasses,
we're learning here. We're learning.
It means that Cole likes you.
Yeah, exactly.
Romantically.
I've done the math.
Cole, that's crazy to me that you would say that.
No,
because the amount of people who take off their glasses and put in contacts to become more attractive.
Stop it.
It's a real thing.
Stop.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Glasses,
Yeah.
people, stop it. Wear your glasses. You look more distinguished and attractive. I will, except for Michael, when he does that. Oh my God. Check out YouTube for Michael looking just
Crazy.
insane.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Takagi. I mean the tsundere, obviously. I like that she is like, again, she's doing that like whole like school like girl likes boy thing where she just clearly likes the guy.
They're all believable teenagers is one thing I would say, which I'm being hard on this show because I feel like you guys are being real positive and I want to kind of be the contrasting opinion a little bit. But like, I think all the characters at least are interesting, I would say.
Oh yeah. I mean, and again, I just want to give some props to Saiko. She's got one of my favorite voice actors in Miyuki Sawashiro. She's one of my favorite seiyuu. But I think that's probably the end of our pre-spoiler thing. So what do you guys think about just ending thoughts and our ratings? Do you guys want to move on to that, or do you have anything else to say?
I definitely have a few ending thoughts I want to say before.
Let's start with Jay, because I want Mike to sit there in silence for...
Yeah, sure. I enjoyed this show. And I think that you would too if you are a fan of ecchi. If you don't like ecchi, you're not going to like this.
No. How do you hold on Mike did the zipping of his lips and then ate the key. How do you zip your lips and then eat the key?
I did that on purpose and I wasn't expecting you to call me out on it. It's supposed to be a silly little gag between us.
Mike and I have been drinking, so this is what happens. Jay hasn't. Jay's the sober
he's
one.
your babysitter tonight.
Sober.
He's DD.
But yeah, no, I I gotta drive these two nuts home.
He's double D tonight.
Yeah. Oh, triple D on this one.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah. Jay, your final
we're
thoughts.
rolling out.
We're rolling out. Yeah.
Jay hops in his Camaro.
Hold on, let me just get my my ice tips going.
How about you get your final thoughts going?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got derailed. Yeah, no, I think if you like ecchi, you'll like this show. If you don't like ecchi, you're probably not going to have any fun with it. It does have some interesting direction, and it's a well-produced show. The story overall is a little bare bones, but you know, like I think that there is some enjoyment to be had. And maybe I'll go into a little more depth in our spoiler discussion. But overall, like it's fine, you know, like I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's great, just fine.
And
right, we're rating it.
Yeah,
we're rating it. Okay, well, if we're gonna rate it, then I guess I'll talk about how I feel about it rather than an objective critique.
No, how do you feel?
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece? This movie isn't stupid. You're stupid.
I had so much fun with this show, man.
That drop's getting work today.
Yeah. Honestly,
like just like laughing at all the like ridiculous ecchi moments, like. I wasn't looking at it being like, oh, this is weird, or oh, this is like so tantalizing. It was more just like, this is so ridiculous that like I don't, and like that's where I got so much fun out of it. Like when he's like shooting a gun, he's like, oh, this is cool. I just like burst out laughing. Or just like honestly,
not wrong.
Honestly, if you want to watch a good comedy. This show has some good laughs.
This show, I don't know if it's like unintentionally funny or not, and
yeah, like I'm not 100% sure.
The best satire, you don't know whether or not it's being earnest or not. And I don't know. Yeah. So, sorry, I don't mean to derail.
Yeah. So like how I prefer Dio over Jotaro in part 3, because Dio is a much more fun character. A much more interesting character because Jotaro is so stoic and boring. I'm giving this an antagonist.
Oh, what?
An antagonist?
It's getting antagonist.
Oh my god. So it's bad?
No, I've gone over this before. I disagree with the 1 out of 5. You can think of it that way if you want, but to me, the rating system, it's abstract.
We've lost the plot.
Jay, Mike and I are drunk. You're sober.
Yeah.
And okay.
Okay.
If you want further elaboration, I can go over it at a later time.
I understand what you're saying.
I
understand what you're saying. I think it's just, it's going to really...
I'm too logical for that to make sense to me, is the problem.
I get it.
Yes.
As the person who's in the middle between you two, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
He's like Donatello. You're right. You're right. You're both right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, actually.
I understand what you're doing, Jay. I just could never do it.
Mike's brain is
my brain would malfunction.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's my turn now?
Yes.
Cole?
It does, yeah.
Thinking, computing. All right. Now, I've been kind of hard about this show, and I found that a lot of the moments where I felt like I was supposed to laugh, I just kind of didn't. And I don't know why it is. I don't know what exactly it is. And then I kind of I ruminated on it a bit. And I was just kind of thinking, and the thing I came up with why I maybe didn't, I feel like I was supposed to have a lot of fun watching this show. And I was really kind of bothered a little bit why I wasn't having as much fun as I thought I should have been having. I kept thinking, this is supposed to be a really fun show. Mm-hmm. Why am I not having fun?
Yeah.
And the conclusion I came up with is that the comedy bits and the ecchi bits and the dark horror bits are just too jarring for me. It's just like a whiplash. I'm getting flipped back and forth between watching a little girl watch her father get murdered before her eyes, and then immediately after that, it's supposed to be this comedic gag. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't emotionally go back and forth between those things. It was too sharp of a emotion between the two that it kind of just jarred me into the point of kind of not having a great time. But I do think that there's enough here. If you know you're gonna like ecchi and you know you like horror, and you kind of honestly probably know whether or not you enjoy this show, or if I'd say it's worth checking out if you can handle the ecchi. Mm-hmm. I personally have no problem with ecchi. I think that this show went heavy on the ecchi, the panty shots and the jiggly bits and stuff like that. But whatever. It doesn't bother me. It's fine, but it bothers some people. You know if you like that or not. Mm-hmm. But where I think it kind of failed for me was as I expected it to be a comedy, more of a funny show. And I felt like it was a show that was kind of Cole kind of said, went ass backward into being funny a little bit and tried to be a serious show. And then because it was trying to be serious, the serious bits kind of took me out of the funny bits. And then also again, watching something horrific happen and then looking up skirt at someone's panties at the same time, watching a girl on the staircase while her friend just kicked her back down the stairs, and then all of a sudden it's a panty shot. It's what's going on? How do I process this mentally? I don't know what to think about this anymore. So I'm going to go tossed up here. I'm going to give it a... What's the one below background?
Henchman?
I'm going to give it a henchman.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a henchman, I think. I know what it was trying to do. It was mostly well produced, and it just didn't vibe with me. I don't know what exactly. I think I nailed it down, but I don't entirely know.
Okay.
And I need a more sensical plot and a more realistic world, I think. And just a bunch of things just didn't add up to the Michael enjoyment factor. Now, Cole, tell us your rating.
I find it odd that you referred to yourself as Michael, the full...
I know, that felt weird in the moment.
It's Mike.
It did feel weird. Mike. Yeah.
And I'm also distracted that Mike's wearing his glasses, which makes him 30% more attractive than... Oh, never mind. So, I mean, my final thoughts of it were... I had more fun at the start of it, and I found it was more of a slog to finish the show than it was to start the show, which was an interesting thing. The show,
honestly, yeah, kind of.
The show had
honestly
the middle I found particularly, and then it kind of finished a little strong.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. It was completely reversed for me. I found it difficult to start, and I was breezing by the end.
Oh, okay.
I'm surprised. It shows how different we are, I guess.
Yeah, I liked the end of it. Like Mike said, I like the end of it, and maybe I like the start of it. The middle of it could have been, maybe if this was a movie, I'd like it.
I think the reason why we're different is because like by the middle I stopped taking it so seriously. I just like completely.
There was a
checked out.
conscious point in the middle of the show where I thought, okay, I've just got to watch this as a. No, hold on. Let me rewind.
I kind of agree with what Jay's saying a little bit. Like I found myself watching more of the dub as I went on because I was kind of like, the dub's more fun. I'm just gonna enjoy what I can.
Yeah, there's this thing with satire and whatnot where you don't know if it's being earnest or not. So if you watch this as a satire, it's genuinely okay.
Yeah.
If this is being earnest in its like horror aspects, but I can't tell. I can't tell if it's being earnest or not. Yeah. Which maybe is maybe that's more of a plus in its satire side of things.
I think you just kind of got to give it how you feel about it really in this one. This one really is like a truly, there's enough good like technical stuff and what I would call objective stuff to give you good marks and bad marks. And you just kind of got to basically ride with how you feel about it.
Yeah. And maybe I've been drinking.
Definitely you've been drinking.
I've definitely been
that's
drinking.
objective.
That's objective.
The jiggly bits of it can definitely go a little into the red, you know, if we're talking on like a spectrum of like, you know, like an RPM meter, you know, sometimes it can get into like the 20,000 range, you know, but if it sticks around that 3,000 to 4,000 range, it's not bad. Honestly,
there was, I would say like 80% of this show was like perfectly within what I expect ecchi to be. And there was like a couple points where it was like, why are their boobs jiggling so much? They're just talking.
Why is he just like full on like getting a mitt full in this scenario?
Yeah.
That's fine. I didn't have a problem.
That being said, you know, I was thinking of giving this a 1 score up to this, but then I realized as you guys were giving your ratings, you know, maybe I'm just drinking. I'll give this a background. I feel like I'm probably a bit more positive than Michael is. I mean, Jay, I feel like Jay had a great time watching this.
I feel like he did. Yeah. His score. I'm sad that your score doesn't reflect that.
No, I get where Jay's coming from,
but
though.
I know what you're doing. Yes.
Well, it does reflect it. Yeah. Just not in the way you think it reflects.
Like not in the 1 to 5 scale.
Yes.
I feel like a background is appropriate. It's not great. It's not terrible. I would watch a season 2 of this.
I would too, honestly.
I had a fun time. I feel like
it's at least different, right?
Yeah, and I had a good time watching this. Now, Jay, please tell us what you want us to review next.
Yes. Okay.
And I have no idea.
Okay.
Jay with the back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Back-to-back reviews.
Well, last time it was the listener's choice. This time it's mine that I control and am the mastermind behind. So I said that it is a 13 episode show based on a light novel. Came out in 2008 by Studio Imagine and is currently on Crunchyroll.
Okay. As Cole runs to grab a manga, I'm assuming he knows what it is.
Yeah,
we all get a good glimpse of
I also
Cole's
said
butt.
that the last review may have left Cole hollow inside. But this one may fill his heart. Our next review is, Cole, if you can show us your beautiful light novel.
Oh, very timely review.
Spice and Wolf.
There's Holo in her glory. With the season reboot or season 3 coming out soon, we're still not sure, but we think it's a reboot.
I think it's a reboot. Yeah.
I think it's a reboot. Yeah. With the new thing coming out, and also just like, you know, the fact that Spice and Wolf is just a super well beloved show. I want to see what all the hype's about. So,
have you guys never seen Spice and Wolf?
No, I haven't.
No.
I think this is actually something I think we should maybe do going forward. Is maybe, what are your guys' thoughts on Spice and Wolf before we review it? Cole, we know your thoughts. Like, what are you expecting, Jay?
No idea. Economy stuff. That's about it.
I think it'll be like a nice little fun, like fantasy, but like chill vibes, kind of like Mushishi. I'm expecting to kind of like this one, actually.
I think you guys will enjoy Spice and Wolf. It's a good time.
Whoa.
I enjoy Spice and Wolf, obviously. Holo, best girl. It's not even a competition.
Is there another girl character in it? We'll talk about that when we review it, I guess.
Let's find out in about a month.
Yeah.
First season only?
First season. Yeah.
First season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if he's using his 24 episoder.
I already did.
Oh yeah, Guilty Crown. That's right.
Guilty Crown, yeah.
Spoiler warning?
Yes. The spoiler section's going to be light this time, and I don't think the spoiler section matters that much. FYI.
It's time for spoilers.
Spoopy.
Do you guys disagree with what I just said? Do you think the spoilers really ruin
it
the show
doesn't,
for
it
you?
doesn't.
I don't think there's like a bomb that was ever dropped. Like
Well,
a spoiler bomb.
I mean,
There's literally a bomb that is dropped.
Yeah, but I mean there's no bombshell of a reveal that was
No.
that ever
no,
happens.
Yeah.
No I am your father.
yeah, no
reveal.
like nuclear
No.
bomb blowing up in the atmosphere.
EMP wave somehow
Yeah.
getting detonated over the whole earth.
That didn't make sense at all.
I'm glad you agree with that.
Like why okay. No,
Why did the brakes fail from the EMP? That's what I didn't get.
yeah, that's a strictly mechanical process.
Yeah, they could have picked any other part of the car that would make sense, and the brakes are like the last one that would. Anyway, sorry. Yes, plot.
Okay, I've been kind of talking about this,
Dancing
but
around it.
the point where the teacher comes back to the mansion at the end, all of our main characters make it to
the bad teacher.
yes, all of the main
teacher,
characters
yes.
make it to Takagi's family, their house, and they're like super rich. They've got like a whole like estate built off, and the bad teacher from early on in the show who just like disappears and then reappears later on in the show. What have they been doing this whole time? I don't know, hanging out in the bus.
I know what they've been doing this whole time.
Well, sure.
Starting a cult.
They show up
being greasy.
They show up for 5 seconds and then just like literally
blast off like Team Rocket.
Yeah, so they show up. Our main girl Ray confronts the teacher who reasons there's
why
been a
that
whole
happened,
thing.
yes.
Yeah.
That lasts for all of 2 minutes, and then Takagi's dad just says, "Go away," and that's the end of their character arc.
Yeah. It's
like
so
you guys leave, and that's it.
It's so disappointing because like I said, I wanted to see him eat shit. I wanted to see him get
Well, he kind of did, but when his brakes failed.
But like I was hoping that there'd be more of like a confrontation. The confrontation was nothing. And then they were just like banished away. And that was the end of it.
Yeah.
It was very unsatisfying. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened. I wish it was executed better.
It was satisfying in the sense that it made me laugh.
Yeah.
But it wasn't satisfying in like a narrative sense.
No, I definitely agree with that, Cole. I think that him disappearing in the first place, like, I remember while I was watching it, I was like, oh, what happens to him? And then, like, the next episode comes, and I'm like, oh, so, okay, he's just
I guess
gone.
nothing?
He's just a guy. Yeah,
yeah,
I guess nothing.
I know. I was like, oh, I guess he's just gone now.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that. And then he came back up like, oh, cool, they actually brought him back.
I thought literally the same thing.
That was the
like,
plot
oh, cool.
twist. This show's actually bringing him back. I didn't think they would.
Just for a gag
Just for
in
an
my
appearance.
mind.
Yeah.
No, the one that Cole, I thought you were talking about when you said I don't know why that happened was Psycho's like little reveal there where she's like, no, I like killing
that
people.
was another one. Yeah.
I was kind of like, why is this happening right now? What is this?
I haven't like picked up on like a character beat of her being like a psycho and wanting to like beat people up. So far, she's just been like fighting zombies, which everyone else has. So why?
They made a good point about showing her whenever she like killed zombies, she would kind of like smirk or look really happy that she was killing them.
They all were.
That was what kind of foreshadowed it, right? But other than that, I was kind of like, I don't think I need this. I don't think it could be implied. They didn't need to just say, I like killing people.
I feel like it's for the gag at the end of that, where like she goes ham, and then there's like this giant text.
Oh yeah, that one I laughed at too.
I was like, I was thinking like, what is going on? And then just like, I had to pause to like for a laughing fit because I laughed so hard at that.
That was the moment where
what did the text say? I don't remember that part.
It says, "I'm wet."
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And then I thought, and I was like, wait a minute. This was foreshadowed because she was like, do you like getting girls? Do you like getting girls wet or something like that?
Yeah.
And then it goes to this, and I'm like, this okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I laughed really hard.
Great show.
That just like took me aback. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they all enjoy killing the zombies. I don't really...
Yeah.
I didn't really pick up on anything with her specifically.
He even says, like, when he's talking to her, like, well, I enjoy killing the zombies. And she's like, yeah, well, that's after the zombie thing happened. I'm talking about, like, before.
The dude I killed. Yeah. Just straight up murdered, basically.
Meh.
I mean, he's a crappy dude, but yeah.
I didn't pick up on any of that, beforehand.
It just felt unnecessary, I think, is kind of my biggest critique of that whole thing.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff. It was like we said in the first half, like there's a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
It just felt like they stitched together with like the cheapest thread they could.
I think like the best way to put it is like it feels like it, instead of thinking, okay, because of this it leads to this, it's more like they're writing the story and then this happens and then this happens and then this happens. Rather than cause and effect.
Yeah, I feel like it's you know what would be cool?
Yeah.
If our main character had to like go save a little girl. Okay, how do we get to that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than the and then this and then this. I feel like they had plot points that they wanted to meet and then wrote backwards.
I agree.
I could see that.
It definitely, and I think that's maybe what I found one of the things that took me out of it a little bit is like I just couldn't jive with the plot a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it was basically like your standard zombie plot, I don't know. Yeah.
It was and it wasn't. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
The plot's not why you're watching the show. You're watching the show for the plot.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
If you know what.
Yeah. Or the cool. Honestly, the action scenes were cool.
The action was really good. It did like I think it's definitely not a grounded action. Because like
not a grounded show either.
No,
like bodies are going flying, everything like no. But it's the rule of cool. It looks cool, so put it on screen.
Yeah.
Like the infamous booby bullet dodge. Like impossible, super cool, infamous. This show would probably not even be on our radar, I don't think, without that booby dodge.
Probably.
I feel like if the show came out today, it would be kind of doomed to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, zombies aren't in now. I feel like zombies were in at the time of this. And honestly, like, I don't want to take away from it. The show is unique in the sense that, like, there's not, like, the booby dodge thing. Yeah, sure, whatever. But, like...
That's just the iconic moment that everyone knows.
I feel like the show has a uniqueness to it that other shows don't have. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it did something different, which is fun, right? Like to do is, and I don't know if that's just because we're in 2023 talking about a zombie show from the 2010s when zombies were hot. I don't know how much of it that is, but today this definitely feels unique and interesting.
What does Ray have to say?
I don't know, not much.
She loves what's his name, the main boy.
Ray, who's best girl?
Takashi.
Sorry, my cat has got a guest spot on the podcast right now. Just to rub her face on my face.
She's enjoying the recent guest spots. Yeah.
I've started leaving the door open so that the animals might come in here, and yes, this is what happens.
Yeah, she is like trying to.
Does your cat not do this?
No, he doesn't. Oh. He stays away from me.
She's very loving.
Yeah,
she's very loving.
He stays away from me. Do you guys have any like final thoughts before we wrap this episode off? Or
I think I've kind of gone over everything I've said.
Yeah.
I feel.
How many tissue boxes for you guys, Jay?
I will not disclose that information. Thank you,
Michael.
Oh, we actually broke Jay's we popped his cherry on this one. He watched his first hentai almost.
Nah, this isn't a hentai.
Nah, this isn't.
He
hentai.
saw nipples. That's a hentai.
I mean, he's watched Code Geass. There's nipples in that one.
I jest.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. Which, I mean, this show
okay.
at least has the decency to not show underage nipples.
I mean,
That's
hey,
true.
I'm also glad that it doesn't have random sunbeam out of nowhere.
That's true.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
and the other thing I appreciated too is thank God there was no fan service with my girl,
Alice?
Alice.
Yeah.
Or weirdly in the dub, her name was Arisu. What?
What?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's like the...
That's
That's the transliteration,
yeah.
I guess.
Listen, the dub as a dub fan, I would say the dub made some weird choices.
Yeah.
Everything made some weird choices.
This show is just a weird choice.
Yeah, including this podcast.
I would say for the average person, unless you have a strong aversion to ecchi, be more like Jay and Cole. I'm being a bit of a hater. It's fine.
Jay's
Honestly,
Mike's being a bit of a prude. Yeah.
I think the best way to rate the show is it's a good time if you're drunk.
Yeah.
This would be a good drinking watch show.
Yeah,
Just drink every
yeah.
time blah 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 happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Before we go, what was the sexiest panty shot to you guys of the billions? What was the sexiest scene? Because this is a pure ecchi show. Let's get our horn dog out for just a minute here.
I can't even
All right,
think
you
of
guys go
one
first.
specifically.
Bath scene, obviously.
The bath scene? I don't know. The bath scene was a little over the top. I like more intimacy.
I liked
So
when
the
they
thing
were
on
like
the
in
stairs?
the
Yeah,
temple.
maybe the stairs, to be honest.
I like the
Jay like
temple
Psycho
one.
in the temple.
Yeah.
The temple was good. Yeah. I like the one-on-one, like, you know, they're about to, but they don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the bath scene was great, Mike. I'm not gonna lie about that.
They were drinking, by the way, during that. It was clarified
they
in the
were-
manga.
They were
But
drunk.
They never said it in the anime for some reason. They just decided to leave out that part.
I think because
drunk.
they were trying to like censor it. You know, they
Yeah,
got
they
rid of
were.
the underage nudity, and they probably got rid of the underage drinking
Strange move in this anime, I would say.
when they were clearly drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, well, we can't show her nipples. She's, you know, a teenager, but we're going to show a gratuitous shot of her in a thong bent over in front of the fridge.
Yeah.
With her boobs hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's kind of
cool.
like
It's kind of a little like, what are you doing?
I kind of laughed when she's like, "I'll protect you," and she's in like just an apron and a thong.
I was waiting. I was like waiting for them to change before they went out in that seat. Like after they stayed in like that weird girlfriend situation with the teacher, her house who has like an arsenal in it for some reason, and she's kind of like irrelevant to the plot, but for some reason gets a lot of screen time.
I feel like she was supposed to be relevant later on.
She must come up in season 2.
It probably
Yeah.
was gonna come up later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you liked the ridiculous etchiness of this show, by the way, definitely check out the OVA because it is just purely like they go on an island and they do basically hallucinogenic drugs and have fun. It's a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed the OVA more than I would say I enjoyed the rest of the show.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
definitely won't check that out. Definitely not. No way.
It's not anymore. No. It's not any more really etchy than the rest of the
I mean,
show,
I wouldn't
so,
do that. I'm a man of culture and taste.
You're a pure and tasteful man, and I can't wait till we review Spice and Wolf. I'm excited. I've been meaning to watch that show for forever.
I am genuinely excited. I can't wait. Jay, do you have any closing thoughts or?
You guys have pretty much said it all. I've said it all.
Yeah, well, we all love this show.
I love this show.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Anime Protagonist Podcast. You can follow us on our social medias at AniProPod. No, just AniProPod. Leave a like, review, subscribe, give a 5-star review to us, please. And tell a friend about us as well. We want to get more listeners to this podcast. We also want more people in our Discord. You can join our Discord. Links to everything is at our website, AniProPod.com. If you really like us, like if you really enjoy listening to this podcast and you want to support us in a more financial way, which you don't have to by any means, but if you can, we'd really like it. You can join our Patreon, like these wonderful people: Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Braindead B-Dog, Super Mexi, Peach, Frama, Kratos, and a new patron, Wee Woo.
I love the wee woos.
You guys,
but
come on,
yes.
wee woo. Let's go. Wee woo, Jay, wee woo.
Bruh.
Okay. Just Juzz, thank you all so much for supporting us financially.
Yes.
It actually means a lot to us.
And it really
Just
helps
Juzz
out
is
the
like
show.
a very long time listener, by the way, so I'm glad that they decided to support us.
Yeah. So
Bruh.
You get some
Thank
extra
you.
benefits to joining our Patreon as well. You get early access to our episodes, extra bonus
It's on the
episode every
Friday,
month.
not the Sunday.
Yeah, you get it a couple days early.
We just put out a bonus episode too.
You get access to a special chat,
Patreon chat.
a Patreon chat, and you also get early mailbag.
Priority mailbag.
Priority mailbag. Thank you. I've been drinking.
Cole's brain's mush.
Yeah, my brain is literally falling out of my ears. If I took these earbuds out, it would just flow out like a.
It's just because I described the OVA to you. Now you're like, all you can think of is going and watching the jiggly OVA.
The jiggly bits. Yeah. We'll be back next week, but until we come back next week, we say, as we do at the end of every episode of the Anime Protagonist podcast, bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.